Man, y'all make sure y'all share this video and make sure y'all subscribe to All Viral Access Media. You know the vibes.
They thought we forgot, but we never forget. This one's for the rules. We built this land from dust and tears. 400 years, and we still here. They write new rules, but they don't see. Every freedom they got came off you and me. We planted seeds, they took the bloom. We lit the flame, they left the room. But we back now, know the skies. The spirit's woke, we realize. All we want is what we earn. That sweat and blood, yeah, that table turn. You can't buy culture, can't fake that fight. This is our day. This is alright. We FBA. Say it loud, say it strong. We the heartbeat that's been here all along. Foundational Black Americans, stand tall. We ain't begging for nothing, we built that all. Born from pain and grace, you can see the truth written in our face. We the soul, the sound, to fight the flame. Foundational Black Americans, say our name. They love our rhythm, but they dodge our blues. Use our voice when it fits their news. They take our sound, but not our scars. We the backbone, we the stars. Now the veil is gone, the mask is clear. We see the game, we know what's here. No more silence, no more lies. We lift that flag and watch it rise. Rise up. We the ones that made this nation breathe. Our pain turned to power. Our roots are trees. We know world. It's rhythm and grace now, and now we reclaiming our rightful place. Can't copy courage, can't steal pain. You can't inherit soul by changing names. Our story ain't done, it's the revival. We guard the gate, it's about survival. We FBA, say it proud, say it loud. The world dances on what we vow. Foundational Black Americans, still we stand, still we fight, still we demand. Every block, every song, we've been right here all along. The soul of a people strong and free. Foundational Black Americans. We the first, we the rule, we the fire. Still rising, still here. Foundational Black Americans.
Good evening, family. Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk Worldview, which is Sister K Fighter, Brother Tad, Brother Blacksmith, Sister Brooke, and Brother Divine will be joining us in a few. We got a lot to discuss, a lot's going on since last week we were with you. First, let me give a shout out to our brother Mike Larry of All Viral Access Media for that lovely intro, that new edition of Black American lyricism, I should say. But family, tonight, we're asking a difficult question. Who owns the legacy of foundational Black Americans? From Hollywood casting to Juneteenth celebrations and media narratives, many foundation Black Americans are saying it's time to protect our history, our lineage, and our story. Tonight, we're going to talk about it. Tell somebody to tell somebody is going down right now on the Brooklyn Bridge. Family, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? While the team get ready behind the scenes, excuse the tardiness. We had some technical difficulties, but I see my brother Blacksmith is ready. You ready, Black? You ready, Brother Tad, or should I give you a few more minutes? All right, the team is ready. Tad Talk's very own, the OG Wisdom Podcast very own, up on the Brooklyn Bridge. What's happening, Brother Tad? What's happening?
Peace, sis, peace. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes,
You hear me
yes.
clearly? Okay, yeah. I don't know. Is Mercury in retrograde? We need our resident alien here to break all that down to us. Computers is glitching and everything.
First I lost connection, then you lost connection.
Word. And look, we was up here early too.
We was chopping it up. I'm sitting here eating my watermelon, relaxing.
Yo, was it that season? Because I had some watermelon too.
It's that season, brother.
With
It's
the seeds and everything, nice and sweet.
Let's get our brother Blacksmith by way of the BX on the Brooklyn Bridge. What's happening, Brother Black? What's happening?
Hey, chilling. Don't be having Charleston White making shirts for y'all now.
No.
I'll be a
He
watermelon.
don't want these
fella.
problems. He don't want these problems.
Yeah, we put hands and feet on people. We beat the security down.
For real. You better ask somebody.
In peace, y'all. How's New York? How's New York today?
It's beautiful.
Okay,
Like it is
all
every
right.
day.
That's what's up. SisKeisha, get it back. Go in.
How is it down there in Hotland where you at?
It's okay. Hot, like you said. Hot is
Hotland.
places,
That's
but
all
we
we
good.
call it.
Yo, bro, where you at? You gotta come a little closer to the camera or something. You just
I know we can't see you, brother.
like Scotty done beamed him up.
You melting away. You stay with us now.
It's this background is AI, so you know how that go.
Yes,
I can't
indeed.
do AI. I'm too real for AI, so it phases me out when I go a little further away. I'm gonna get in the camera right. Okay, here we go. Can y'all see me now?
I got you.
Clearly.
All right, I'm here. Go back in, SisKeisha. I'm listening to you now.
Let's give some shout outs real quick. Shot Town in the building. A Law Solution. What's happening? Yes, indeed, brother. I saw your comment. You are absolutely right. But here's the thing. When you're making up these prompt images, certain words that you use, they will kick you back out. So if you use certain words, they will kick you out. So we got to use what we can. And that's real, unfortunately. Yes, you are absolutely right. You're absolutely right. What's up, Davis? What's happening? Glad you rocking out on the Brooklyn Bridge. The president is coming in. Can't wait for him to get on. Jerusalem in the building. Missionary Baptist Church. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Y'all better stop playing with us. They got their hands on us tonight. Y'all better stop playing. I am a mirror. B1 Family Hope all is well with you. Our regular supporter, Sister Tanisha Murdoch on the check-in. What's happening? Tigger, 121. What's happening? Kimberly Powell. Welcome to the Brooklyn Bridge. Hope all is well with you. Intrigue, 1129. What's happening? And our sister Farnessa, Alabama, always in here. What's happening?
That's Sister Anunnaki.
See you messing with her.
Nah, she said you're in that spaceship by yourself, bro.
I ain't gonna say nothing.
I'll put my sister Farnessa up there with you.
I'm gonna mind my business. Culture Media TV. What's happening? K Mac 4627. What's good? What's good with you and yours? Hope you are doing well. Aunt Marie, Uncle Jesse, Brownsville Finance on the check-in. What's happening? So we're gonna get into it tonight. But you know how we like to do. We like to start off with some Black history. But it's also Black Music Month, right? And so if you don't know, these HBCU bands, They don't be playing with it. I like this rendition of Florida A&M. Keep sweat, make it last forever. Let's check this out, and we'll come right back. Love it, gotta love it. That FBA flavor, baby. How you
Ain't
like
nothing
it,
like
brothers?
us.
How you like it?
Ain't nothing like us. You know,
You know where Keith Sweat
takes
from,
me
right?
back. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
He ain't from the Bronx. Cut it out, Black. But no, what I was gonna say is the dopeness, because that song is definitely older than them students. And when that song was rocking, it was dope. And to take you back to a time where our folks loved on each other, wasn't ratchet, it wasn't about the hate. The whole album was about love. Was back in 87, the end of 87, beginning of 88, well into 1989. We was bunking
86, born in 87.
It was released in 1987. I just looked it up and I was there. See, Black always come with that Bronx energy, that got to be contradictory energy.
They
Stop,
can't help it. They can't help it.
You know,
I want that came out late 86. I can tell you why, but I'm gonna let you finish and then I'm gonna go in.
But the album was released when? Because they wasn't playing I Wanna.
Yes,
That
it
was
was.
Make It Last Forever, Black.
Yeah. Yo, you right. You right on that. Yeah.
I know.
Okay, go ahead.
Don't cut my knowledge, God. Don't cut my knowledge, God. That's that Harlem talk for you. But no, sisters, in seriousness, like these young people, they get the taste of what it was really like for us before they were born, where the music always expressed love for one another. And what's happening, why what we're doing is so important, because we're taking it back to the essence of our lineage, of us being accountable to one another, properly leaning on one another for support when we had nothing but each other. You know, I think that's the last of an era, because that's our era, and our parents' era had music about loving on each other. Now, this music now, you really can't get jiggy with this because it don't exist. And that's because of outside external influences, whether it be the people with the small hats in the industry or the people coming over here cosplaying, bringing their degenerate behavior. So we here to reclaim all of that. And I'm going to land right there. Black, what you got to say about that, bro?
I was gonna say that you're right.
Thank you, bro.
You know, back when you was on the phone, talking on the phone, still talking on the phone, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, you sleep, you still on the phone. You know, gotta get back to it.
You hang up first. No, you hang up first.
Yeah.
Then you on the phone for another hour.
Yeah.
Word. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. You ain't hang up. And like I said, you're on the phone for a whole nother hour.
Yep.
And that's how our families was created, out of love. The environment was loving, the music was loving. And you think that's the era when they really tried to destroy us with the crack cocaine dumped in our community, destroying the strong Black folks. You know what I'm saying? So a few years later, they became all disrespectful. They gave us NWA a year or two later, around that time.
Right.
So I remember the first time I heard Eazy-E, we was like, yo. And of course, we kids, we young and impressionable. So all things outside of social norm and decency is exciting. So that's how I know we gravitated towards NWA, not realizing all of this was a plan to destroy us. But they can't. From slavery to Jim Crow to the crack epidemic, they can't do it. So now what we really understand now, it's all a mind screw. It's a mind fuck. They want us to believe we are these degenerates that they paint us to be. And other folks come over here adopting that narrative and lifestyle. And we here to set the record straight. Because I know as FBA, my grandparents taught me way better. Way better. That common decency and respect is rule number one. You ain't got to like me, but you gonna respect me. We ain't got to agree, but you're gonna respectfully disagree. But now, this day and age, I don't know. But we're gonna set it back. We're gonna set it back right.
Yes, indeed. Sister Brooke, you ready? Let's get Sister Brooke up on the Brooklyn Bridge. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening?
Hello, everybody. Hello, Brother Black. I saw a documentary that made me think about you. It was wild as hell. Hi, OG Tat. How you doing? Hello, SisKeisha. How y'all doing over there?
We good. Now I'm gonna save it for the end. But did you get to hear that beautiful rendition from Florida A&M on Make It Last Forever?
Honey, my mother would have been like, my mother just like, she, you know, my mother's from Louisiana. I've said this all the time, you know what I mean? And that is like her, when them bands come on, it's like you can see the kid in her, you know, like the college student in her, like just awaken. She loves to watch the marching bands and stuff like that. So as soon as anytime I see them, I always think about how much my mom really enjoys that. So my mother would have really enjoyed that, even though that song is not necessarily from her era. You know what I mean? She enjoys, you know, hearing and seeing the band. Like, don't get the what is it, the band leader? I'm sorry, I'm not good with the names. When he leaned all the way back, Lord, I gotta hear about it. Oh, you see how he leaned back? Yo, she just be going crazy. So yeah, that's what I thought about my mommy.
Hey, Sister Brooke, are you familiar with a song by Outkast named Morris Brown?
Probably if you play it, but
song. Yeah, it's a marching band song.
If you play it, I'll probably remember, because I've definitely heard like all their music before, but I don't remember. Yeah. You know, my memory be terrible.
I put it in the chat.
Okay.
You know, if you've never had the chance to see an HBCU band competition, that is a sight to see. Taking me back to my college days, even though I didn't go to an HBCU, but I definitely was up in the spot. You know, they had the games and like I said, the competitions. If you've never had the pleasure of seeing such a thing, it is a sight to see. But believe it or not, the most downloaded music today are classics.
Yep.
Are classics. And, you know, there is a teacher, and I forget which city she's in, but she plays classic music, you know, the oldies, and her students be jamming to it. I can't play it because, you know, copyright infringement. I can't play it, but them little kids be getting down. They be jamming. They, you know. Yes. And also, too, my grandson, he likes the oldies. For real. He can tell you some things about Frankie Lyman and all that. He can go way back. But, you know, good music is good music, and it's timeless. You know,
your grandson is one of my favorite people. You know what I mean?
Don't tell him that. He already want to date. So, you know, don't tell him that, please. I'll make sure when he watches this show, we speed right on past.
You know, I'm his fan, you know.
Yes, indeed. But let's continue with some history, because a lot of these tellers out here be talking about, well, what have y'all done for us? So I like to bring it up every once in a while. Great historical points. So let's do that.
Here's something nobody talks about. Her original patent actually shows the toilet paper rolling over the top. So for everyone who's been pulling it from the back, you're doing it wrong. The inventor already settled it. Case closed. I just learned that a Black woman invented the toilet paper holder. Her name was Mary B. Davidson Kenner. She wanted a cleaner, easier way to store and dispense toilet paper. So she built one. So the next time you reach for toilet paper, think about the foundational Black American woman who literally invented the right way to do it.
You can't even sit on a boat and roll that toilet paper if it wasn't for us, God darn it.
Talk about it.
You couldn't do it. You couldn't cop a squat, nothing.
Well, look, she also settled that age-old argument too. Do you put the toilet paper over or under? So now we all know it goes over.
Now we know.
What about the toilet seat up or down?
Oh, Black Star.
Here we go. It's always the Bronx.
Always down, Black. Down, down, down.
It's always the Bronx.
That's why you get left high and dry.
Yes.
Listen, I grew up. I got three brothers. And my mother and father was married, so it was always up in my crib.
But here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
Not only is the seat down, the top should be down too, because they have done studies that every time you flush that toilet, the little bits come out. So you need to put the whole thing down. Y'all got it all exposed. You know what I'm saying?
Which I do when I flush.
Huh? Right. So then it stays down.
So then you lift it back up when you're done?
Right.
Like,
You bring it back up after you finish walking.
Sister Keisha cut his mic.
He's on time.
He closes it and then open it back.
He's on time.
Right.
You know, you can't let him go for too much. You know, you got to reel him back in. Don't let him go too far. You know. But also in the month of June, we should remember Medgar Evers.
12th, 1963, civil rights leader Medgar Evers was shot outside his Mississippi home after years of fighting for voting rights and equality. The man accused of killing him, Byron DeLar Beckwith, went to trial in 1964, but two all-white juries failed to reach a verdict. On June 12th...
When it comes to the vote, because, you know, we just had some elections around the country. You know, a lot of immigrants took part in that. Now you know what happened before you, because you didn't get your wig split. You know, your wife didn't come home and find you on the ground, you know, or open the door and find you on the ground, you know. So the ungratefulness of a lot of, or all immigrants, no matter the hue, the ungratefulness, it has to cease. So last week, shout out to all the fathers, uncles, cousins, stepdaddies, all of yous. You on mute, Brother Tad. You on mute.
Don't forget the grandpas. Don't forget the grandpas.
Hold on. I'm getting there, Tad. I'm getting there. Don't forget Papa.
That's right.
Don't forget Papa. You know, Papa set the standard. Just so everybody knows, Papa set the standard. So, again, happy Father's Day or belated Father's Day to all of you. You are much, much appreciated, especially in today's times. People be talking real greasy about our brother. That's got to stop. Because we live in a technological age. And everybody is posting things online. And a lot of things have been posted online. There's a lot of African and Caribbean and Latino women getting their heads split by these dudes y'all laying up with. Okay? There is a show on Netflix. It's called The Polygamist. Okay? And this dude, he got all kind of women. You know, putting hands on people and all that. But you know, hey, the truth shall set you free. So when I hear people talk about black men this, black men that, who you talking about here?
Mhm.
Who we talking about? Because I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. No, that's not happening over here. Sister Brooke, have you seen that series, The Polygamist?
I have not, but I'm about to check it out though.
It's a sight. It's a sight, sis. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But
okay,
because it's all relevant to a lot of things that we're seeing today. Right? Like I said, a lot of women are getting their wigs split. And, you know, they'll try to put it on us.
That's right.
But, you know, people are streaming these days. They putting all their business online. Let's go to Nigeria, shall we?
You are mad.
I've heard you.
Your wife is your bastard.
Then leave my
Look
wife.
at your wife. Look at
Madam, leave my wife.
Human being. Useless
You
human
drag my
being.
wife with me.
Yes.
Your wife that you are about to kill.
Leave her for
Which
me.
wife that you are about to kill?
Then leave
Let
her for
us
me.
see your wife's face. Let us see your wife's face.
Leave her alone.
Leave her alone. Leave her.
Oh.
Look at the man.
You want to kill her. This girl is just 18 years. This man is brainwashing her. Treating her daily.
Yes.
Let me talk to her.
Please, I'm begging you in the name of God.
That's okay.
It will be as if it's my fault. The mother don't like me, please. Please. Let me just.
So when people talking about, you know, our men and how they behave, let me flip the camera around on y'all asses. Let's flip the camera around on y'all asses. Because I do know this. And I have some family members in the chat. Let me come with my head split open and see what happens. You want to see Mr. Forrester in a coffin? Let me come around there with my head split open. You crazy? Don't talk about how bad we are and hold yourself up in a particular light. Like it ain't going down over there. Because it is. To all the East Indians, them too. They out there too, splitting wigs, chasing women down the street with knives and butcher knives and shit.
With the baby in your hand.
Come on, Brooke, you already know where I'm going. Why is this showing like this? What's going on here? Hold on. Let me pull it out. Hold on, let me remove it.
Oh, yes, this is it.
Look what he got in his hand. So, when they say how bad our people are, how bad it's going down with our folks, like they ain't out there acting like that. Don't let these people come to you and tell you a bunch of BS. Okay? Don't let them come to you and tell you that. But they act like it ain't happening with them. They act like, you know, they holier than thou. They say we animals. What you call that? What you call that? That's crazy work. I don't know who sent me that earlier today, but that's crazy work. So I don't want to hear that kind of stuff. Don't throw shade on Black American men and try to hold yourself up in a particular light like you're holier than thou. Because we live in an age where everything can be seen right on Front Street. And I don't like that kind of stuff. Anybody, any commentary before I move on?
In the Middle Eastern countries, a man kill his wife he's been married to 20 years, got grown children by, and they throw a party for him in that village all the time. I used to work with a Lebanese dude. He told me that used to happen like every 3 months. Like he was like he said it was so casually. He said, "Yeah, they do that in my where I'm from all the time." Done.
Love it. Love it. Go ahead, Sister Brooke.
I really, really like it. It infuriates me the way people try to demonize our foundational Black American men. There are no men, you hear me? I said 0 men on the planet who empower their women more than foundational Black American men. Let me remind you, Callie House, that was in the late 1800s, okay? Callie House was elected by the foundational Black American collective to represent them. Callie House, a woman, when white men weren't even allowing their women to go to school or to learn, to do anything. They didn't even want their women to vote, much less be in leadership positions. Nowhere else in any other country, in anywhere on this globe, was a woman put in such leadership positions the way Callie House was, and Harriet. I could go on with the number of women that were put into leadership positions in the foundational Black American community. Nobody else does that. Not one single island in the Caribbean. Now you might have the president or the prime minister or whatever her name is of Barbados, which, by the way, she don't speak for us. And we'll get into why I'm specifically singling her out later. But let me just throw that in there. You might have a woman prime minister now, but we was doing that back in the 1800s. You late to the party. Okay, the women that you talked about just last week, Mary Hamilton, Mrs. Mary Hamilton, she was a leader in the civil rights community at that time. Another woman who everybody backed, who everyone had her back. Ida B. Wells. I could just go down the list of prominent foundational Black American women that were elevated and put into leadership positions by both the Black American women and Black American men as a collective. So when you fix your mouth on us, understand the history on us, and like I said, and nobody else, not one, you can't name it. Not any other community was doing that. So I really, really hate it when people start talking crazy about our foundational Black American men. And I'm going to take this time. My father has passed. But I remember when I was a little girl and, and I was playing, you know how you play restaurant? My parents came over to my restaurant in my little tiny chairs and stuff. And I was making them, that plastic food. And my father asked me what I wanted to be when I grow up. And I said I wanted to be a waitress. And my father looked at me and said, well, baby, you can own the restaurant. Now, I don't like cooking and I don't want to do nothing with cooking. But the point is that my father, he saw me as something bigger than a waitress. Yo, baby, no, you're not going to be just a waitress. You can own the restaurant. And this is how our foundational Black American fathers raise our foundational Black American daughters. They love on us. They give us strength. They give us confidence. And they push us forward. They do not hold us back and tell us what we can and cannot do. And the only time they are in our way is to protect us, because that they will do. If they see some violence, oh no, then they might be against it. But anything else, they're gonna push you forward. You can do it. You can climb that mountain. You want to play ball, you can play ball. You want to do this, you can do that. You want to do it, whatever it is that you want to do. And that is and I just want to take time to appreciate and love on our foundational Black American fathers. I will have to love on all of you in this realm because my father is in another one.
Yes, indeed. Mine too, sis. Mine too, but they still rocking with us. You know,
That's
they
right.
rocking with us. They
He
like,
still
get
he
on.
rocking it right now. Well, this, this picture, I don't know which way to go. Yeah, this this picture here, the beard oil, everything that I said, like that is, all giving homage to my dad and how much I love him and miss him to this day. But I still be having conversations with him because when the Knicks won, I looked at that picture, I said, "Dad, you." So he's still here and he's very happy that the Knicks won. That was a great Father's Day gift.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
Now, Sister Brooke.
Huh? Oh, he going out. That's what it is.
He going back to the
Ain't
Bronx.
nothing but the ancestors putting him on timeout. But what I do want to say to both of y'all is bless y'all pops for blessing us with two dope ass sisters such as y'all too.
That's what I'm
I know I
talking.
love and appreciate y'all to life, and I appreciate the kudos because being a father, a foundational Black American father / grandfather, that's my greatest joy.
Yeah.
Outside of the community work, outside of the physical athletic accomplishments like the marathons and bike rides and all that, all the medals and awards, none of that amounts to the feeling that I get when my grandchildren and my children see me. When they light up, when my children as adults know that they can still call on me and I'll show up for them the way they need me to. That is so rewarding. And I always say this because, see, this is why I love what we're doing in terms of FBAs, because if it calls on us to reach back into our foundation, our family foundation of how we was raised. See, me and Sister Keisha have always been in step. For about at least 10 years, we've been rocking. At least 10 years, at least a decade. It's been a little longer than that. But I'll say a minimum of 10 years, we've always been lock in step in how we move through these spaces. And I don't know if it's the Brooklyn energy and blood. I don't know if it's the foundational Black American spirit that has always existed in us. Because even when we was in a Pan-African space, we would tell people, go back to the ancestors you know. Never forget grandma and grandpa and great-grandma and great-grandpa. Don't forget what they taught you. Because we realize we dealing with so many lies and narratives. When people say that Black men aren't involved in their children's life, I always rebuke that lie. Because coming up in my neighborhood, even if the fathers weren't in their home, I knew who all of my friends' fathers were. And remember, I'm talking about the early 70s, so we know through the welfare programs that fathers were pushed out the homes. We know this. As children, you don't really understand it. You just know what you see, but you can't put it in its proper context. You just know the father don't live in the house. But I remember people's grandfathers living in their house. I remember the grandfathers setting down the rules. And I was talking to one of my childhood friends the other day, and I was talking about her grandfather named Mr. Nixon, who always stood in his front gate of their brownstone. He stood in the front yard and just kept an eye on the block. But every house on the block had a man in the house, had the father in the house. Not the uncle, not the step-pops, but the father, the biological father. And then when you look at CDC reports from a few years back, it says in this country, no demographics of fathers is as active and supportive as Black fathers here in America. So we thumb our nose at those lies. And this is why I reject all types of lies that they say. And sometimes people don't like my language because my language is authentic. I'm from the bowels of the lowest community. I'm from poverty. I'm from a teenage mother who was on welfare, an unwed teenage mother who was on welfare. I grew up in the tenements of Bed-Stuy. Had friends who were little criminals and thugs and whose parents were on drugs. So I've seen it all. And I rose through them ranks. I done been to the dungeons of Rikers Island to the dungeons of Ghana. I experienced the Black experience. So I hate when people try to what's the word? Intellectualize. You know, they try to get all intellectual and get their experiences out of books, not by lived experiences, but by what they read. No personal experiences, just what they read and what reports say. So I realize a lot of things that's said about me as a Black man, as what's said about our community as Black folks, particularly foundational Black American people, it's all lies. And I reject all that shit. I don't think white people are superior. So me personally, I reject white superiority. It's an idea, but to have white superiority, you got to have what? Black inferiority for it to exist. And I've seen some dope people do shit that Jesus did. Feed the multitudes with 2 fish and 5 loaves or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I seen grandma do it. Feed all the kids with little to no money. You know what I mean? So here it is. We here to set the record straight. And for all those who's cosplaying us, this ain't no knock on y'all. We just want y'all to be honest. Be honest about who you're imitating, because we're not imitating you. You're imitating us. The whole world is imitating us because we are force that can't be stopped. And again, it's not just the father, it's also our sisters, because I've said it time and time again. I don't get involved in organizations where Black women aren't in leadership. And I'm not talking about a Black woman just for sake of being a Black woman. I'm talking about my sister Keisha, for one. It's only a handful of strong Black women I know that's going to be honest, set the record straight, and hold brothers accountable if we not acting right. Y'all see, Sister Keisha ain't scared to pull a coat, and sometimes that's what we need. We need a sister who's going to hold us accountable, because sometimes as brothers, we might co-sign some nonsense just so we could get a pass to do some foolishness, so the checks and balances don't really add up. So we need this balance that the Creator created. You know, God made Adam and then said, give you a helpmate, gave us Eve. And all the time, your helpmate don't have to be your wife. It could be your sister. It could be your mama. But we, as strong masculine men, we need that feminine balance to help us out. We need that emotional side, and we need that logical side, you know, and together we gonna win this. I'm glad Sister Brooke laid out the sisters who were in leadership in the past, you know, because there's still space for sisters to be in leadership now, but you can't adopt the narrative that the powers that be is trying to force on us. I reject all inferences of us being inferior to anybody, because I knew who I am. I know who we are as FBA. So with that, I yield.
We rocking with you, my brother.
Enough said. Let me get the president of the U.S. Freeman Project up on the Brooklyn Bridge. Brother, are you ready? Welcome to the Brooklyn Bridge, our brother Divine. What's happening?
Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is the second time in a little while we kind of matching, Sister Keisha. I don't know what's going on. Shout out to my sister Net that made these hats. She got it to me a day after Juneteenth. So I was like, well, she didn't get it to me a day after Juneteenth. I got it a day after Juneteenth because she did hit me up before. So I was like, let me wear this on the bridge, especially in honor of Black American Music Month, right? So we still got the colors going on. It's a Juneteenth hat, but it still works. So I just wanted to say shout out to everybody on the bridge, Brother Black, Sister Brooke, my OGs, Brother Tad and Sister Keisha. And I just want to come in saying this, that I never really thought about it until you said that, Brother Tad. But I knew every single father of all my childhood friends on the block. I never really thought about it until you were saying it, and I was coming in from the backstage, and I'm like going over all my friends, like, oh damn, I know they fathers by name.
That's right.
And interacted with them, and they, you know, chastised and straightened us up when they saw us on the block and we was getting out of hand, or we had to avoid them if we were trying to do some stuff that we know that they was going to see and call out. And that's powerful. That is something I didn't even really think about. And I took it for granted because that was the norm. But understanding the propaganda and the lies being pushed on us, it's like, man, you don't, it's like just what they say and what we live have always been two different things.
That's right.
Yes, indeed.
Can I ask
Shout
you a
out to
question,
Brother
Brother
Bruce.
Divine?
Hold on. Shout out to Brother Bruce in the chat. Universal Unified Front. What's happening? What's happening? And of course, the Church of Black Power. Welcome to the Brooklyn Bridge. Glad you rocking out with us. And please give them a follow. Please give the Church of Black Power a follow. Go ahead, Brother Black. Sorry.
I want to ask the panel of the Brother Divine first, being that, you know, he went in on, he piggybacked off of what Brother Taz said. I want to ask the panel, what broke that sort of unity up as opposed to what it is today, in your opinions?
What unity you mean in particular?
I'm talking about knowing your friends' fathers, and you know how there were black men around, even if they weren't with the baby mom or the girlfriend or whatever. What broke that sort of form of unity up? And coming up to now.
So, okay. I mean, it's the bridge, so we got to keep it a buck. And it's so funny because I was going to go here later on in the episode because I heard it on one of Tariq's spaces. Two of them came on, and you just threw the alley, so I'm cool to oop it. So what changed was, for me, now growing up on my block and, coming from I'm right after their generation, the overwhelming majority of all of my friends were foundational Black American. So I knew they're with foundational Black American mothers and foundational Black American fathers. And, I'm not going to try to blame it all on them, but we have to honor and understand the patterns that come in when gentrification is happening. And like we learned from Sister Keisha and from the studies, immigration always precedes gentrification, especially here in New York City. And so I was listening to one of Tariq's lives, and a Haitian sister called in and a Nigerian brother called in. Both of them, and I don't want to go as far as saying allies, but both of them was on some, okay, let me tell you what my community is doing. And because what you're saying is correct, and they just lying and pretending that what you're saying is right. And the Haitian woman had 7 kids by 5 different fathers. This is her talking about it. And the Nigerian dude that called in shortly after she did came on and said, yeah, everything you're saying is true because my Nigerian father is a deadbeat. My mother's a foundational Black American woman, but my father's a deadbeat, and he got multiple children and multiple families here in America and back in Nigeria. And so when we talk about Freaknik and how it was Luther Campbell that brought the freak to the Nick and the degeneracy, right? There is a level of decorum that we have always had that's a part of our culture, the very fabrics of our being, right? Because here's the thing, and I'll say this, not every father that I knew of my foundational Black American friends was that father in the household, right? I'll say that about my friends. But to what Brother Taz said about that CDC report, all those dads were active. And we knew him as the dad. He wasn't somebody that came around every once in a while. He was a dad that even though he wasn't with, my boy's mom at the time, he still demanded respect because he was moving respectfully around us and around his own children. And so there's a level of that was taken away from our community once our community started to get diluted, so to speak, or gentrified. Because here's one of the secrets that people don't like to admit. And I see it on TikTok, and I try to put that comment in there every time I see it. When people talk about the changing of the communities, and Sister Keisha told us and dropped the receipts about the founding Black American families of Brooklyn. And so what the people miss, because it's like watching a movie and trying to explain the movie from the point that you got into the movie, but the movie already been on for an hour. And so when they come here, they're speaking of Brooklyn in the 1960s to present day. But I always got to ask them, who do you think lived there before you started migrating into the country in large numbers? So Flatbush isn't your community or your neighborhood. You came in and gentrified those founding Black American families that inhabited and lived in Flatbush and made it a community when the original white flight happened. And so you come in, you change the dynamics of the community and of that neighborhood. We get gentrified out by you. And then now it's a tragedy when you're getting gentrified out by your fellow immigrants that happen to be white, Asian, Indian, and other.
Yep.
So your Caribbean behind came and gentrified us out, but you wanted to care about immigrant on immigrant gentrification now. Yeah. And that's, for me, from my firsthand experience of being a multi-generational, coming from a multi-generational New Yorker family and seeing some of these shifts in my lifetime, I can tell you that's what I saw that changed the culture of our communities. And I'll say this one last part, not to dox myself, and I think I'm past the statute of limitations. But when I was a young boy and I was going around the communities because that's where you met it. Back then, you met a girl in another community or another hood. That's how you went to that hood. Y'all wasn't going there for no other reason, but you go there to check the shorty, whatever the case is. I'll say it like this. There was a big difference with the rules of engagement and how quickly things happened or didn't happen when it was a foundational Black American young lady I was talking to versus when it was a Caribbean young lady I was talking to. And I can see that now in hindsight, and I leave it there for it so it can say PG.
You know, I'm glad you went there, brother. See, everything is in divine order. This came across my desk earlier today. Let's listen to what this brother saying, and I want you to remember exactly what Brother Devon just said. Hold on. About communities changing.
And I've seen how neighborhoods have transformed, like places like Elizabeth. Yeah. Elizabeth used to be lower middle class to middle class, kind of working class area. It was mostly Black and Hispanic. When I was in high school, it was Black and Hispanic. You go through there now, I don't see any Black people. There's no Black. It's hard to find. There are pockets of towns where it's just all Hispanic. That's it. It's all Hispanic, whether they're from Dominican Republic, Puerto Rican, El Salvador, wherever. It's just pockets of Hispanics who live in these particular areas, which on its face, I don't have a problem with it. But here's the other part. I know for a fact that much of this is fueled by illegal immigration. I used to work for a company that was associated with many of the warehouses throughout the state of New Jersey. That's another thing. As the transformation happened in these towns, also all these warehouses were popping up all over New Jersey. And it's not like, oh, it's just this one remote area. Down the street from where I live in a decent area, down the street, multiple warehouses. They're seen as day workers, right? They're not employees. They do the same operation all the time. No one was ever worried about ICE. Ever worried about ICE. And then you find out that E-Verify, right? We thought, oh, just E-Verify, they'll stop this entire thing. Well, in many places, they have the choice to use E-Verify. Do you think they're going to choose to use E-Verify if they can get cheap labor and pay them minimum wage and just rotate through the next illegal immigrant who comes through or whatever? Of course not. So most clients don't use E-Verify. Like, this is the reality happening all throughout New Jersey. There's a place called Dover in New Jersey, and you're like traveling all the way up these highways to get it's pretty remote. Yeah. It looks like Old Town USA, where you're like going through all these scenic routes. You get to Dover, years or so. And I've seen how neighborhoods have transformed, like places like Elizabeth.
Same here. Same here. And when I said, I think last week, for the immigrant community to not think that it's diabolical for you to change the name to an island from which you came, from which you fled for a better life, and then you come into a neighborhood and you change the name. You work with politicians to change the name. To me, I'm speaking for me, not for the panel. They can speak for themselves. To me, you're just as bad, if not worse, than the white man. And you see no problem with it. Now, 100 years from now, the 5 of us going to be up out of here. We will not be on the scene. But our descendants will be, right? They'll be here. And when they look at Brooklyn, and in the history books, when they go to school, they're going to be telling them about Little Haiti, Little Caribbean, Little Senegal, uptown, you know, Little Africa in Philly. That's diabolical. And this is why we putting our foot on y'all goddamn necks. This is why. Because you can act stupid all you want to. But I see what the hell you doing. I see what you're doing. You're working with politicians. Today you got struck down by the Supreme Court 63. TPS status is over.
Over.
Over. Come on through, ICE. Come on through. You didn't come over and align yourself with the people who are fighting here. You separated yourself. You delineated. You separated. You built your own, according to you, formed your own enclaves. Now, when me and Brooke dipped out, we dipped out. But Tad, Sage, Devon stayed around. And they said they noticed on the store all the goddamn flags from all these goddamn islands, but no flag of ours was hanging there. That's diabolical. And so, that's why we're not playing with y'all. That's just one part of it. When Tad was just talking about, and Brother Devon, knowing the names of the fathers of their friends, the fathers in the neighborhood, when they talked about how Tad did mention how fathers were made to leave the house if the woman needed public assistance. But you mother effers come over here and they work to keep your family together, giving your family money. But then you tell us we're lazy. We don't take advantage of opportunities. You come over here, you get a business. Why? You ain't got no goddamn credit score. You ain't got no credit history here. So they're giving you the loans. You don't got to pay for legal representation. They got it for you. But you telling us we lazy. We need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. F you, your family, and your ancestors. And I mean that with my whole chest. And I'm not saying everybody, but it is a majority. The ones who are on code are far too few. That's the problem. But y'all don't see that as being a problem. We do. When you had a panel discussion of people talking about Carmelo Anthony case, all of the brown faces were of immigrants. You know, they say, well, you didn't form no communities here. You're a goddamn liar.
I am an 8th generation direct descendant to the first free African-American to purchase property on Staten Island. Traveled there in 1799, purchased the land in 1828 of Sandy Ground in the South Shore of Staten Island. We are a documented stop on the Underground Railroad. my ancestor, Captain John Jackson Henry, brought Harriet Tubman in multiple times with a group of the enslaved from the South. And so that alone is a jaw-dropping spiel for any customer that sits down at any one of my 6 tables. When I say it, they're like looking at me like, is that real? I'm like, yes, I am the vehicle that allowed for, well, my ancestors were the vehicle that allowed for Pete Davidson, the Mob Wives, the Mafia, and Wu-Tang to be who they are, because without that history, there would be none of that. There were no bridges. It was just our boat back and forth.
Talk about it. Yo, if y'all ever get a chance, you on Staten Island, stop on, what is that? Van Duzer at her restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shout out to Shawnee.
Mm-hmm.
Her food is banging. I've been having a taste for that lately too. And that is crazy. Because this is real deal.
Don't get Sister Brooke mad. She already told you to go uptown to that restaurant.
Bruce Smith, that's right. That's Shawnee. She got the soul food spot on S side. That's right. I believe it's on Van Duzer. I'm trying to think because it's going. I think it's going west. Because the Staten Island streets is funny. It'd be 2-way, then it split to 1-way, and then they reconverge. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But the food is banging. The food is banging. And I mean, it's we all eat soul food. We black folks, we eat soul food. And we always say everybody can't cook some food. You know what I'm saying? You might be good on a potato salad, but leave like mac and cheese alone. Ain't your field expertise. Oh girl.
Hey, brother Tad, Bruce Smith says beach in Van Duzer. Food is banging.
That's right, beach in Van Duzer. I knew it was on Van Duzer. Yep, beach. Yep, you cross. Yeah, it's right closer to the corner of Beach and Van Duzer. Yes.
And then after you leave there, you can visit Brother Tad's gym.
Yeah, my gym is everywhere. I'm everywhere.
I wanted to speak to the.
1 second, bro. But here's the thing. She talked about her history of her family from the 1700s, till now. But you got people coming in changing the name of neighborhoods.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is freaking diabolical. You are erasing our history for yours? Fuck out of here. Go ahead, bro.
So when OG Tad and President Divine talk about knowing people's fathers, I didn't quite have that experience because where did I grow up?
Wow. Okay,
in
talk
East
about
Flatbush. I only knew maybe 3 of my friends' fathers, maybe 3. I'm like thinking in my head, I can name like 3, and the rest of them I don't know. In fact, when I went to school in elementary, now this is this is so interesting. I was bullied like a lot in elementary, like beyond the norm, right? They had an I Don't Like Brooke club where all of the girls were pretty much a member, and the reason why we found out is because the teacher found it was a very smart school too. The teacher found the essays that you had to give to the president and the vice president of the club to be admitted to the I Don't Like Brooke club, right? This is why when people like my skin is thick, you know what I'm saying? Like I really could care less. Like I was bullied, like, and that's another reason why when these Africans and Caribbeans talk about being bullied, I'd be like, buck up, buttercup, okay? Give me a break, right? But the reason why, this is the whole reason why I brought that up. The reason why they didn't like me is because I had a dad.
Mm.
And not only did I have a dad, but I had a dad who would buy me things. Like I had like new sneakers. I had like all the fancy gym bags for my gym clothes. I had the fancy gym clothes. I had, you know what I'm saying? Like I was, you know, we were middle class. Like I
had all the things. Anything that I could have that would not get me robbed, my parents would buy. Like I didn't have no triple fat goose. I did not have a triple fat because my parents was like, we not paying money for you to die. You know what I mean? Like that we not doing. So anything that I could get that wouldn't get me robbed, they would buy it. No problem. Like, so, you know, the kids would be like, where you get that outfit from? And I'd be like, my daddy bought it for me. And that is why they hated me, because I was the only one with a daddy.
Shout out to my pops.
Right. Yeah,
Shout out to Paul.
Shout out to my pops.
My father, like I said, he not only loved me and gave me he kind of spoiled me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I was daddy's little girl, and you know, I look back on certain things he used to tell me now, and I feel like he thought I was like the cutest little thing too, because he would just be like if I asked him for something and he didn't give it to me, I would poke my lip out and be like this, and he'd be like, put that lip back in. And I think he thought it was so cute that, you know what I'm saying, that he couldn't say no. But yeah, so that, you know, so my experience with my friends and their fathers was like completely, and one of the people, matter of fact, one of the people that I could say was my friend and I knew his father, like the reason why is because my dad was cool with his dad, you know what I'm saying? Like that was his friend, you know, and that's how we became friends, because my dad was cool with his friend. So like, you know, yeah, so I had to come, and we not that far in age, you know what I mean? But we grew up in different communities.
Yeah.
I did not grow up in the foundational Black American community.
Brooke, let me tell you, just listening to you, it remind me of my daughters and my granddaughter. 2 weeks ago, me and my granddaughter went to the movies. She's 11 now. She'll soon be 12. She said, Grandpa, do you spoil me because I'm your first grandchild? I said, no, baby, I treat you and all your cousins the same. I said, the difference is you ask for the most. You're always that.
Wait, she got you and dog wrapped around.
Yes, she oldest. And look,
You
she
know,
thinks
it's
that's the
like-
reason. And it's really because she asks for the most. She asks for everything, and I don't tell her no, because her mother told her, you want something, ask your grandpa. Her mother and her aunts tell her, Grandpa give you anything. Just ask him. Because like I said, to this day, these women are grown, and they'll still be like, Daddy, what you doing? From Kayla, and Sister Keisha, you know, Kayla, like, that's Miss. She gets whatever she wants. Everybody knows. Kayla's the youngest, and I always say it's funny for her because my other children are a lot older than her. So she's almost like an only child. But the beauty is she gets whatever she wants because her siblings are adults. She'll be 19 next month, but her siblings are grown. So it's not, you know, I got to get this one. It's, all right, babe, what you want? Okay. And I say that because as a man, as a father, because sure enough, we going, you know, we coming off the heels of Father's Day, and we can never negate the importance of a father. I'm thankful for my father and his father, who I knew. My grandfather passed when I was about 32 years old. So even my children knew my grandfather, and we all agree my grandfather was one of the best men you can ever meet. But the fulfilling thing is being able to provide for your family. Nothing hurts a real man when you can't do. See, it's the difference between a deadbeat dad and a dead broke dad. A dead broke dad, you know, he's still there emotionally. He just got to work on his finances. A deadbeat, he ain't there emotionally nor financially. Shout out to Dr. Umar Johnson. So it's crazy when people want to lead communities, but you don't even organize and lead your family effectively. And we really got to look at that. One time I had a conversation, I'm going to pass the mic after I say this. I said, you can't be an effective leader if you're not part of an organization and you can't lead your family. See, your family is your first and most valuable organization. Before you come out here and grab these mics and jump on these internet streets, man, you better make sure your backyard clean, baby mama on like he ain't nothing, or your children popping out. My father don't take care of nothing. He do this for everybody else, but I can't get him on the phone. That's not a good look. And it's a poor representation of fatherhood. And we should hold fatherhood sacred as men, just as we hold motherhood sacred. The only difference between motherhood and fatherhood is the mother is there from day one. Like that person, that spirit, that soul grows inside of her. I know that got to be a deeper connection. But for any man who's truly involved in that child's life, you feel that same connection because you value the vessel that's bringing your life forth. I just remember just rubbing stomachs. You know what I'm saying? Like, and my children are grown. My children are grown. And I love it because we have a great relationship. I'm going to pass the mic, but I went to see my youngest son yesterday, watch him play with his son, you know, my grandson. And it's a beautiful thing when you raise sons to be responsible men, when they don't have to lean on you. And if they do, you there to assist. So we challenge everybody with this foolishness that black men are not there for their family and that they're deadbeats. Nah, we show up, we pull up, and we show out. I got graduations tomorrow for the grandchildren, and I love it. Last year was graduations. You know, my daughter got a master's. She get ready to get a PhD in the future. She says she's gonna take a break and work on that. You know, my son got his back. Like, my children doing dope stuff. And look, that wasn't my trajectory. I was outside in the street falling victim to the narratives that they still trying to sell to our people. You know what I'm saying? Because many of us, our father's generation fell victim to the drugs. We fell victim to the gang violence and the thug mentality. None of those things are productive, and that's not who our grandparents raised us to be. So we got to go back to the source. We got to go back to the essence. And I'm standing on that 10 toes. I pass the mic.
I want to say something real quick, piggybacking off of Sister Brooke, as a non-FBA, Sister Brooke. Another big reason why a lot of your peers, when you were in school, were jealous of you is because black parents not from America are known to be very strict. And like, you know, with the bullshit that I had to go through, I speak on myself. I don't need to speak on anybody else. And so like those people seeing you having that sweet relationship and telling them that your father bought it and stuff, and they couldn't, you know, maybe some of them could afford it, but their father ain't gonna buy it because they don't get down like that. Like you go school shopping, Easter shopping, that's when you get clothes. You're not getting clothes just because you want something. You know what I'm saying? That's how most of our parents raise us. So I could see where you coming from when you said what you said. I just wanted to add that in as a little
Black. Let me ask you something.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. They didn't have fathers. It was not only. I'm not gonna lie about that. I would say that's more with their moms, but their fathers were not in their lives. That's why I got such extreme hate. Like, because it's one thing to not like somebody. It's a whole nother thing to have an I don't like Brooke club where you had to write an essay to get into. You understand what I'm saying? So that's and I just want people to understand, like, this was serious. It got to the point where, like, you know, the teacher, I had a Bayesian teacher. I will never forget her. Miss Henry, if you still, I love you, Miss Henry. Okay. Love you. I had a Bayesian teacher, and she said to my mother, "These girls don't like your daughter. They will never like your daughter. Stop thinking that there's something that you could do. That is never going to happen. They hate her." So it's one thing to go through, you know, some of the things, but like I said, like the extreme, and that's why, like I said, when I hear Caribbean adults and African adults, and you know, truth be told, like none of my friends ever said no bullshit like this, but anytime I hear Caribbean and African adults talk about, oh, they teased me in school, I'll be like, shut up. You ain't go through half of what I went through. Okay. And not only that, just like I said in the chat just a few minutes, I would not be the Brooke you see today without that. I told President Divine when I first started making videos, it was a white tea supremacist who came in my chat and told me he wanted to lynch me by my lips from a barn. I thought that was the most hilarious thing I ever read. You think I'm gonna cry? Oh, no. I cried in the first grade. I cried in the second grade. I cried in the third grade. I cried in the fourth grade. I'm a grown woman now. So when you say ridiculous shit like you want to lynch me by lips from a barn ceiling, that's funny.
I'm laughing on the inside.
That is hilarious. That's funny. A lot of the trolling and the hatred that I get online, it's hilarious. You can't hurt me, boo. It's too late, you know, and it made me a better person. It made me a stronger person. So even when I see, because come on now, I see some of them ladies today. We grown women now, but I see some of them today. It's all love. Why? Because we were children. You were a child. You were going through something. Because now, being an adult that has worked with children, I can recognize you were hurting. All that was, if Dr. Francis Cress Wilson calls it, I miss my daddy syndrome. That's what all that was. And you just took it out on me. And it's okay. The adult in me wants to hug the child in you. Now, am I going to trust you? No. I'm not going to trust you. You're going to be my best friend. But is there any animosity? No. Hi, how you doing? Yeah, how you doing, girl? Yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Why would I be mad at you now? We're adults. As a matter of fact, I thank you. Thank you for me. I was too soft. My mama was raising me too soft. It was too much love in my house. I'm you laughing, OG Tab, but I'm dead ass.
I don't think there's ever such thing as too much love for a child.
Let me tell you something. In Brooklyn, it is. In Brooklyn, it is. I was getting hugged too much. I was getting kissed up too much. I was getting all that too much because I didn't realize how hateful the world could be. And they showed me that early in life. How hateful the world can be to you, because like I said, it was so much love in my house. I thought everybody was going to treat you like that. Everybody was going to be honest with you. Everybody's going to like you. Everybody's going to hug you, and and all you got to do is work it out.
Brooklyn,
and everything is going to be okay. No,
I'm with you, sis. Because you know what? That love balanced out that hate you had to encounter. And this is something me and Doggy was talking about earlier today, how we love on the children of our family, because that's her uncle. Doggy is my granddaughter's uncle. You know what I'm saying? And it's so funny because he told her, yeah, I was just talking to your grandfather. What were y'all talking about? Like the innocent questions of nosiness. Well, what were y'all talking about? If I say, baby, I'm gonna call you back, I'm talking to dog. What are y'all talking about? I gotta do something for him. What do you gotta do? Like the innocence of it all, and it's funny. And I say that because we're big on protecting the children in our family, because we know how ugly the world can be. And they will not come home to that ugliness. We are not going to do that. Home is supposed to be your safest, most sacred place.
That part.
Particularly for a child, because had you not got that love, Brooke, maybe you wouldn't have been this lovable person we know today with the
that too.
Skin. So I say that because, and I wanted to ask Black a question also when he come back on, because he brought up the point about, not coming from a strict household. And with Caribbean families, I see that a lot. And Black, what I want to ask, do you think it's the Eurocentric education? Do you think it's something that happened during the enslavement, or it's just inherently the culture? Because a lot of my Caribbean folks, they family be on some bullshit. They family be on some bullshit.
Oh, Lord.
It's two things. I'm gonna tell you, Brother Tab. Great question, by the way. It's two things from where I see it. Now, Honduras, we know, is a Spanish-speaking country, so colonized by the Spanish. So picture a novella and how dramatic the acting is And even if you don't know the words, you know the emotion of what they're saying, because it's dramatic. It's super dramatic. Everything is
right, the body
yelling
language,
and
yeah.
screaming. Right, exactly. So what I'm saying is, I believe that the spirit that dominated the place you existed in permeates to the people, even if they're not of the extract that dominated or conquered or whatever, overthrew the place, whatever. So with that said, there's definitely, and I'm sure Sister Keisha can attest to this, being married to somebody from another country, there's definitely a difference between how the Spanish or the Portuguese or the English or the Dutch ruled, and it permeates in my belief system, at least, it permeates into the people that, are under their rulership, or whatever you want to call it. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
They be on some bullshit.
Yeah.
And let me just say this.
For sure.
They don't have the connection with family the way that we do, right? With cousins and aunts and uncles and all of that type of thing, right? They really don't have that connection, the majority of such. They can go for a gazillion years and not speak to their siblings. That's why a lot of them don't know their lineage. So this is problematic when you're used to leaning on people, and these people say, nah, get off of me, stop leaning. That becomes a problem for them because they don't have that same type of dynamic that we have. For example, I know Tad for a very long time. I met Tad in this movement, right? However, he has longevity with family members of mine on each side, right? Because of that dynamic that we have of not just family, but of community. That's just what we have. Two, the way we take care of each other is different how those from I'm speaking from the Caribbean, those of the Caribbean take care of each other. We do it out of love. They do it out of demand, right? One of the reasons why they don't like to deal with what's going on back home or don't converse with their family back home too much is because their family back home is always begging. This is just a fact. And they put kind of limitations on the relationship of family. And you can go on your little TikTok and put in the search bar, Jamaicans, Trinidadians, whatever, don't want to talk to family because they begging. And you can see hundreds of videos that pop up. This is just true, right? When it comes to resources and how you get them and how you attain them, they feel back home it's an obligation. We don't have that kind of thing. So, for example, Tad and Dog are cousins. They're first cousins, but they live each other's lives like they're brothers, right? Mm-hmm. I can say that because I know the both of them. So, if Dog is doing exceptionally well, Tad is proud of him. Tad's gonna keep pushing him. Go ahead, do your thing. He's not telling Dog, oh, well, you're doing well now. You got to take care of me. You got to take care of Frog. You got to do this. You got to do that. This is what they do with each other. Right? Most of them, when they come out of these countries, one of the reasons why they hook up with American, whether it's male or female, is because they don't want to deal with that destructive lineage that comes along with a partner. So like Brooke said, a lot of them didn't have fathers in the home. There's a reason for that. You understand? Because they want to be outside. They want to show off. They want to sleep with everybody that's running because it makes them feel, they have a show off mentality. and it makes them feel a particular way, right? Meanwhile, it's the reverse with us. You know, Pop may be outside, Pop may be doing his thing, but family is always going to be taken care of. You understand what I'm saying? If the old dudes that you knew grew up and sitting on the ledge of the building, they sitting out having their little drink or whatever, but I guarantee you, those from those other communities, they don't operate the same. It's a show-off mentality. It's a you gotta give me what you got mentality, and if you don't do it, you're a piece of shit. This is how they behave, and this is how they think. So, for example, when I married my husband and I first went to a family reunion, he started to cry. He was like, "This is so beautiful. I've never seen anything like this. I have never experienced anything like this." Right? So then afterwards, he wanted to make sure, you know, you got my size t-shirt so we can go to the next reunion. Right? Last year or the year before, he was in the hospital with a serious illness. Brooke knows this. The whole panel knows this. However, the day he came home, right? He said, "You got my t-shirt?" I said, "What?" "For the reunion tomorrow." I said, "You know the hell I ain't." Because he loves that. They never seen anything like that before, right? So when Aunt Marie called, who's in the chat, or Uncle Jess called in the chat, like Friday, we have our Friday night family calls, right? Rowan to be laying down. The first thing they gonna ask me, how Ro? What's up with Ro? Where he at? We have a different dynamic with family than they do, right? So when me and Brooke had to chuck our asses all the way up to Rochester, right? Here's some money. Make sure you take care of the gas. And if y'all get your asses in trouble, here's some bail money. Call me when I'll be there. Right? Don't let Brooke pay for the gas. You pay for the gas. This is an ally. Do you understand? I can't be there, but I'll make sure you're all right while you're there. Mm-hmm. They don't have that type of dynamic. And I don't give two shits what any of them say, because they don't. It's a phony surface level type of camaraderie that they may have with each other, but it's not in depth. Because they flee, right? And those who didn't flee, they want to. They want to. Trust me, if they could, they'll do it. So that's why it's different. It's just a fact. But moving on.
Hold on, before you move on, can I just say two things real fast?
Brother, rock out.
One, I just want to say, when you talked about, when we, old Pop, whoever sitting out on the front, he doing whatever he doing, but the family taken care of. Another thing that we have that they don't have is that, and kind of something that, to Black's point, when he asked me about what did I feel like the dynamic shifting was, is that historically, even our fellow foundational Black Americans that were in the street life, and I'll leave it there, they still supported the movements of the lineage to push forward, whether that was with protection and or with finances. So even no matter what they were into, they were still on some, okay, now I got to make sure that that you good. And even more so in my youth, all the foundational Black American street dudes that's in my family and those that knew my other family members that are in that life, those are the ones that with love and correction as the motivation, even if the words didn't sound like it, those are the ones that were saying, Divine, get your goofy ass off the block. What you doing over here? This ain't for you. Move around, do whatever, you know what I'm saying? This is what, get the fuck out of here. Like, this is what they would say to me. Because that's just how we move as a culture. So that's one, I wanted to put that out there. But two, going back to the original clip of Sister Shawnee in Staten Island, I'd be remiss if I don't bring this up, because I think this is something that we have to be aware of as we move forward. Because I'm not sure what it's looking like now, but I'm pretty sure that she got a bump in her restaurant business after Imam Donnie won because he used her as a photo op and used her as a campaign stop, right? Here's what I need us to be wary of, because I'm pretty sure now that bump is over and gone, and you didn't ask for anything for the lineage before he brought his happy ass in there to use you as a photo op and pretend like he cared about Foundation Black Americans and the historical communities and things of that nature. And so this is the message to her if she ever sees it. If anybody knows her, I still want to go there and get some of your food. But sis, we all got to get better. And I understand that all of us can't move the same way because you are a business owner. But as a collective, we have to get better at demanding that we will not be used as photo ops or be used for empty symbolism, even if there's a momentary bump that we might get from the photo op, from the tokenism. We have to think long term, right? Especially with all these different communities getting renamed. You could have got Sandy Grounds recommemorated, or Sandy Grounds Day, or something, you know what I'm saying? A proclamation, something in addition to them using you, because without that, like I said, that little bump is temporary. But we see what they're doing for these other communities that get etched into political stone. And we have to start moving that way as well. I'm not saying don't take the bump.
Froze up. What's going on here? Daddy back. You back.
Okay, because I kept hearing y'all. You was good the whole time. So I know somebody was saying that YouTube is messing up. But I'll land here. We have to get better at demanding that, getting the bump and demanding something that's in political stone for our ethnic group moving forward, because everybody else is doing it. And then they're going to use us to do it.
Can I add something to that real quick?
Go ahead, sis. Rock out.
Because I saw that. I saw that online, and I commented in her comments on her thing. I said, he's the same one that's sitting there talking about immigrants built New York, and you sitting there talking about how your family was here before the bridges, honey. These people talking about who built the bridges, baby. Your family was here before the bridges. Why are you not letting him? Why are you not making him walk that statement back? Because this is before he walked it back. Because when did he walk it back? I think it was Black History Month, February. I think he walked it back. And so this is before that. I was like, why are you not holding him accountable for that craziness he's saying? Because now he's only using you to get Black votes. You know what I'm saying? Because we pissed about the fact that he's saying that immigrants built New York. He lying out the side of his neck talking about immigrants built New York. So I agree with him, with President Devine wholeheartedly. She was definitely used. And to her credit, she didn't delete my comment, but she didn't respond either. But she didn't act like, what I'm saying, I'm sure she saw it. So
you know what I'll say too? Not really in her defense, but what I realized, we have a sophisticated audience. Of course, the panel is stellar.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know this stuff. Believe it or not. A lot of people don't know. And they're learning as we speak and as we teach. And as me and Sister Keisha was talking earlier, I'm glad when she's up in these spaces, when she bum rush it Brooklyn style and set the record straight, because people don't know who they're talking to, and people are under the assumption that we don't read, we don't study, that we don't or haven't done community work. And the same people they praise are people we have personal relationships with. People, some of us sat at their feet, some of them see us as their peers and equals. You know what I mean? Because not just of our intelligence, but the work we put in and how we use our intelligence to problem solve. Because one thing I always say, if what you know don't solve your problems, you don't know shit.
Right.
You got all these intellectuals, all these people who's supposed to be scholarly, but they can't solve basic problems like family issues. It's sure enough as we sit here and talk about how to get along with family. We talk about the importance of fatherhood. Here you got dudes who want to be leaders of children, want to open schools for children, but aren't good fathers to their own children. Dudes want to collect money and start these new Black Wall Streets and these new Black towns, but poor stewards of personal finances. We really got to start vetting these people. You know what I mean?
Well, don't forget now, Umar is half something else. And the person who wanted to start that Black Wall Street was not foundational Black American.
But that's what I'm saying. We're not vetting people.
Yeah, that's true. But
And
that's
we're
why the
wrong when we
delineation
call them
movement
out.
is so. That's
Oh,
why
yeah.
the delineation movement is so powerful, because we vetting them now.
Look, me and Sister Keisha was on the Sucker Polite. We was on to damn near the whole conscious community from day one. From day one, we was on to so many of them. And everybody was just loud because a mic was in their face. So that's why you never saw me and Sister Keisha on none of these platforms in the conscious community debating nobody, because it's a waste of time. It was a waste of energy. It was bullshit. And we just wasn't with it, because we like, yo, how we going to educate these babies and how we going to defend our community? So you know what we was doing? Me and Sister Keisha and others, we was taking the children around the country, taking them to different museums, giving them real education from our perspective. You know what we was doing? We was going to the range, playing with them things, making sure you know how to handle it, should you ever need to. That's what we was doing. We wasn't talking about what came first, the chicken or the egg, and was the chicken black or was the chicken tan. Wasn't with none of that. Wasn't arguing about Yahushua versus Allah versus reruns head of lettuce. We wasn't doing none of that shit. Because it's a waste of time. And
I would say the one thing. Okay, brother Ty.
No, go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say the one thing that, and I 100% wholeheartedly agree with you. The beautiful thing about the time and space that we're in right now is that it's actually changed in real time, right? Where there is what we're seeing with this delineation movement, and again, moving away from ideology, because that's, I believe, is what caused a lot of the stuff that y'all was talking about. Because they are of the same belief system, they let a lot of stuff pass. Now it's the lineage. The ideology is, if there is one, is, are you pushing lineage forward? Yes or no? That's all we asking. Because you're starting to see that there really are no more. We're getting to the point where there are no more. I guess it's a slow process, but we're making inroads so quickly we could see there are no more sacred cows, and we're no longer governing ourselves by you did, like I was talking about when we had another conversation about this, like, okay, you did some good things over here, so we're going to disregard all the bad shit you're doing over here. Even that is coming to an end. And I've seen that, around this Carmelo Anthony case, right? We see what's going on with Judge Joe Brown, right? We understand all that he's done, but you soft shoeing and flat out cooning on this one. So we got to call it out, right? And also with the other lawyer, Dennis Sperling, right? He was talking a good game, Foundation Black American game, and was on most of the talking points that we need him on. But then you get on this and you talking about knuckle up and I got sons and that. Now you soft shoeing, and the family in real time is calling them out. I just heard another conversation on one of on the space, and I love this because if there's anything else that speaks toward Tariq Nasheed not being a leader, is these conversations around, is the person pushing the lineage forward or not? Because I heard another conversation where they was like, hey, Tariq, I don't see you coming out against Godfrey for all his tethering in the ways in which I see you coming at other people. And it was an actually robust discussion where they was going back and forth, and they was going, talking point, but talk about how he feels like he's doing enough or not doing enough, or who's doing this or who's doing that. And it's like, those conversations are so healthy in this movement, because nobody's above anybody else, and then nobody is above reproach. And so it's like, yeah, I know that's your man in them. Y'all might have told some jokes. He might have even came down to the Hidden History Museum. But he on some bullshit right now, because he bringing up xenophobic guests, and he not just sitting there being in the middle or saying Ali Bye. He co-signing. Right. He's sitting there laughing like it's a Telepalooza, right? I heard him. Everybody heard him talking about, oh, and now we're free. We heard that. So I don't care if you cool with him or if you don't call him out, because if you don't, we will. Because ain't nobody above nobody else. It's about we focusing on the lineage. So Godfrey could be your man, or y'all can still have some type of loose connection, because we all know there's people. And let me not even bring up Brooke. I'll bring up myself. I was about to bring up somebody in Brooke's life, and I won't do it. But there's people that in my life, right, that I have personal relationships with, that I love, that on occasion be soft shoeing. So I'm gonna be a little bit kinder to them than somebody else that don't have their relationship, that see them soft shoeing won't, right? Am I gonna stop that person from correcting them or talking, the real about them? No. I might not do it, but I'll be like, you know what? You had that coming. I can't even knock it. Like you got to tighten up, right? And so it's going to be those different minor conflicts of interest. But I love it that the family is holding the person accountable even through those conflicts while not having a conflict with the person that has that small conflict of interest, if that made any sense.
Makes perfect sense, bro. You laid it out. And that's where I was going to go. And I'm glad you put it there. And I couldn't have laid it out no better. Not even half as fly as you just did. Because these are the facts. We don't personality worship over here. We don't care how many followers, how many subscribers you got. It's just what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And when you're off, when you're off your zigger, when you're off your balance, we got to pull you to the side. And that's one of the things I love about my sister Keisha, because this is why I rock so heavy with her, because I know if I'm slipping, she going to nudge me like, yo. And I, because we all need that. We all need that. None of us is above reproach. You know what I mean?
Good, Brooke. You wanted to say something before I go on?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who President Devon was going to talk about. You might mind your goddamn business. I know that much. Well, you better not say what I think you was about to say. That's all I know. Yeah. So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I guess your sister getting you back in line.
Right. You better watch your
Oldest in charge again.
You better watch your mouth. And you don't know how true that might be, Brother Black, because y'all still trying to figure out how old I am, and I ain't telling.
I'm being dead fast right now. Ain't joking.
Yeah, you never know.
I think you told on yourself, Brooke, when you mentioned the triple fat goose. But go ahead.
Word.
Not the snorkel, okay? The snorkel was after the triple fat goose, okay?
Nah, it was North Face before that. It was North Face.
Yeah, but nobody.
Nah.
I feel like the first coat people was getting. Well, that wasn't leather. Let's put it that way, because people was getting robbed for.
It was really the polo gooses first, and then all that other stuff, because that's what was popping, the polo goose. But before that was the sheepskins and leather bombers. Yeah,
sheepskins. That's right. Them sheepskins, man. Listen, the Sherlings. Yeah,
the Sherlings.
Y'all old. It was sheepskin before it became Sherlings.
Yeah, before we called it Sherlings, it was sheepskin
in the 80s.
Oh yeah, that's
sheepskins and leather bombers.
My bad.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I had the leather V goose and one polo goose. That I hijacked from my older brother, deaded him on it. Like he don't need.
I had a Columbia.
You was
Did I take it back again? I had a Columbia because they wasn't really robbing people for the Columbias. So I was allowed to get a Columbia. I was not allowed to get a triple fat goose. It was like.
How about your JanSport backpack? Remember they was robbing people.
No, I could not have a JanSport because they was getting robbed for the JanSports too. I was not allowed to have a JanSport, so I could not have a JanSport. And I did not have a pair of Jordans until I was growing enough to buy them for myself. Like I got one pair that I've had my whole life. Like I'm such a weird person. I'm like the only person in the world who like never. But my parents wasn't with it. They was like, yeah, but I was small too. Don't forget, y'all. I was a real small, you know what I'm saying, child. And I was scared.
We used to
right, I should have. But
got with the FBA.
No, my mother would have been like, no, because I couldn't go nowhere. I was very, very, I want y'all to understand, I was very, very sheltered. So when I say like it was too much love, like my mom was like a church lady. You know what I'm saying? I went to church a few times a week. Like I was that type of kid. I had that type of upbringing. I'm in the meeting.
Cyberdon, you telling on yourself too. Yeah, with the quarterfield.
I said the quarterfield. I heard the generations before me talking about quarterfields.
Okay, Cyberdime. I want to shout out Cyberdime. Cyberdime has contributed often to our, whatchamacallit, to the hearing, our troops to the hearings. And I always want to take the time to thank him very, very much, because it's like without fail, like it's almost like clockwork. Cyberdime is sending cash apps, and I just always want to take the time to thank Cyberdyne for all that he has done. We really appreciate you. That's a soldier right there. That's a rider. So I just want to thank you.
Same with Sister Tanisha. You know, when you get into these archives, you have to pay for certain articles and and she pays for that. So shout out to Sister Tanisha.
And with that leftover money, we're gonna get Cyberdyne a maxi code and
we zapping you right back to the Bronx where you belong. That's what's gonna happen.
Right back to the Bronx.
Sister Pat put in the chat. You know, we also went to the NRA museum. And you know, when Sister Maddox and I was talking about it, she said, "You think you could fill a bus?" I said, "Positive." But you had a lot of old heads who were saying, "Why we gotta go there?" If you have to ask, you're an idiot. And I wish James Bryson was still alive, because he was in the room when some conversations went down. But this is what I'm saying. A lot of people talk crazy talk. Like Tad said, we took the children to the Black Smithsonian Museum. They got to put their hands on Emmett Till's casket. Not to read about it, to put their hands on his casket.
Wow.
You understand? You got all of these scholars in here who ain't never had the privilege to put their hands on that boy's casket. The grooves in the wood. So, you know, I don't care what the crazy say.
And sis, tell them how emotional it was, because it's a big picture of Mamie Till Mobley crying and they playing Mahalia Jackson. So
yes.
You actually feel like you're in the funeral.
Yes.
Like you're at the funeral.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, and those children, they were so in tune with everything, asking questions, taking notes. You know, Tad little niece she had her little book.
Yeah. Sister Keisha had the little girls. She had the girls with her. They was rolling with Sister Keisha.
She was on it with them notes.
And you know, she just graduated college too. She just graduated Howard University a couple of weeks ago at the young age of 20. Yes, she's 20. She's only a year older than Kayla. So Kayla will be 19. My niece Madison is 20 years old. She was skipped twice. But this is what I'm saying. Like, we're talking about the children in our families. We're talking about our direct influence. We're not talking about some me, because I had a school in Africa too. We're not even talking about donating money to children halfway across the world. We're talking about our direct influence. That's what we're talking about. The people we physically touch. Like, yo, we want better for you. Do this, do that. Like Sister Keisha said, my niece and my daughters and my little cousins was with Sister Keisha. They wasn't with me. They wasn't with their mothers. Theirs was Sister Keisha. And like she said, my niece had her notes, like our children. But this is what it's about. It's about pouring into our children. Not just talking shit about somebody else's kids. All that energy we have to condemn other people's children, we should be pouring that energy into our children, developing positivity. See, it's easy to tear something down. It don't take no skill to do that. It take a skill to build something. You have to be skilled. You have to have a particular level of know-how. And I ain't no master, but I sure know how to parent and guide children in my family. And of course, just like with any living organism, some you're going to lose. Some you're going to lose. Some are going to stray off the path, but that's their life's path, you know? The ones who want the information, they'll get it. And even the ones who stray off the path always reach back and say, man, I wish I would have listened. I heard all that good stuff you were saying, man. I just, you know? But this is what it's about. It's about developing our children to be strong, productive human beings and represent the best of our race. Because as sure enough as we talk about FBA history, that's what all of them did. Every last person we can name that fought in the movement to move Black people forward was for the generations coming. Not for them right now, not to line their pockets, but to make sure we produce positive, productive, self-respecting, dignified Black folks. And that's what it's about. And as long as we doing that, we doing our job. Stop subscribing to the narratives that the open enemy create for us. And I reject it all. I always reject it. I'll tell people, I always reject that shit. I don't care what Dr. Such and Such say. I'm going by my personal lived experiences and what I've learned, how it helped me solve my problems. I've had financial problems. I've had legal problems. I had relationship problems. And I use my know-how to solve all of them. That's why ain't nobody chasing me for child support. That's why you don't see the mother of my children on no social media platform talk about, oh, he a deadbeat. He don't do this. He don't do that. He punched me in my face. You don't see none of that because that ain't happening. That ain't who I am. Now I'm strong and I'm masculine and I put my foot down. But you ain't going to see none of that shit on my jacket because I ain't playing with nobody out here. I ain't playing with nobody. When it comes to rearing the children, we're not going to play. When it comes to this legal system, I'm not going to cower down and be afraid of their laws because we know it's a fictitious laws. It's fictitious laws. Even when they was threatening everybody to get jabbed up, I wasn't with it. I was standing 10 toes down. They was like, all right, we got to let you go from your job. All right, bye. Ain't nobody going to force me to do what I don't want to do because when I stand on my shit, I know I'm standing on truth. And truth can stand up to scrutiny. Truth can stand up to scrutiny. So ask me what you want, and we're going to go there. But now the thing is, can they handle it when I flip it back? You know what I mean?
Yep.
And this is what we want. And that's why I love my sister Keisha, because she's a positive influence. My sister Tam, you know, so many positive women I have in my life that my girls, my nieces could look up to. Educated Black women. I know you mamas. We know it's ratchet people out there. Shit. I got a few cousins that's ratchet. So if somebody act up, I will call them. They with all the smoke. But for the most part, I don't have them around the kids like that. You know what I'm saying? Even if they're around the kids, they know I expect a certain level of behaviors. And that's what we got to mandate for everybody that want to be in FBA spaces. You know, sure enough, as we was at the parade this year, you know, it was beautiful. It was decent. Wasn't nobody gyrating on the police. Wasn't nobody half naked doing soft porn. None of that. Everything was
working on the light post.
Right. Right. Self-respecting women. And that's what we want. That's what we want. Because the narrative right now is that Cardi B is a representation. That what's the Sexy Red is a representation. That Megan Thee Stallion is a representation. These are not representations of Black femininity. They're not. And we got to rebuke it. We got to reject it and denounce it. You know, and I'm off my soapbox with that one.
Coming in the body.
Shout out to Lil Kayla too. You know, Kayla, I used to call her my bodyguard. That's Tad's youngest daughter.
Yes.
But, you know, her cousins, my niece, all of us on the trip together, and these young girls sticking with each other. They all asking questions, you know. So when people say, well, they taking Black history out of school, it's your job. It's your job. You're the first teacher. You know, my daughter was acting up one time in the class in junior high school in her social studies class. And the teacher told her, well, since you know so much of Black history, you'll get up and teach the class tomorrow. I guess she thought he was saying something. You know, she had an extra bag. She took books with her and all of that. He calls me on the phone. She taught the class. You thought you had a fake one out here. Don't ever try to embarrass my child. Because if she tells you what you're teaching is wrong, she mean it. She mean it. So I just say, you know, it's our responsibility to teach our children. Go ahead, Ted.
You know, it's funny that you say that because I had an experience like that too with the children of my youth group. Because one of them texted me and he was like, hey, we in history class and we asked our teacher, why are we learning about the Jewish Holocaust? What about the African Holocaust? Teacher said, Africans never had a Holocaust. You know, that's when we was in the African Centered Spaces too. And he texted me. And sure enough, while he texted me, Tammy's daughter texted. And they got at the teacher. They's like, no, that ain't true. Da 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 da. Teacher sent a note to everybody home, and all the parents knew that they was in our youth group, and they had no problem. So the teacher was like, oh, I didn't know, because all the parents stood in solidarity because of what we were teaching. We were just talking about slavery. We were just talking about our enslavement, being kidnapped and stolen and shipped around the world. Talking about that. And the children knew it was called the Mayafa as well, the great suffering. So they went in, and this is the arrogance and ignorance of those that we are fighting against. Because people are under the assumption that Black children don't know their history, that we don't know who we are. You see it in these spaces, right? When people say Black Americans have no culture. They don't know who they are. How we don't know who we are? I give you generations of my ancestry, of my lineage. Down to South Carolina, North Carolina, Halifax County, Virginia. What else do you want? Now, how far back could you go? You can't. You're lucky to know your father, and super lucky if you know your grandparents. So stop it. And that's where the buck stops. You may know your grandparents, but you don't know your great-grandparents' great-grandparents. No documentation whatsoever, because when we pull up receipts, they act like we even pulled it out the sky. I said, no, this is my mother. This is her mother. This is her mother. This is her mother. This is her mother. This is my father. This is his father, his father, his father, his father. What are you talking about? Here's the documentations. Here's the census. Here's the pictures. What? I'm not, and that's why I don't debate with a lot of people, man, because they don't know what they're talking about. Just as I used to debate people and I didn't know what I was talking about, believing that my experience was supposed to be everybody's experience. And that's not reality, because we all have different experiences and different interpretations of our experience. And my intelligence let me give room to learn more. Everybody's experience is different. Though me and Sister Keisha was born and raised in Brooklyn, I didn't live in Fort Greene. I knew people in Fort Greene, but I'm not a Fort Greene resident. I can't tell you the difference between the far side, the back, and the island. And I know those places exist, but you got to be from Fort Greene to know all of that. They'll be like, yeah, he live in the fort. Yeah, he live in the island. The island, what's that? It's like, you know, it's different sections to the projects that if you from there, then you know. You know, but I passed the mic.
Facts. All facts. You know, so teach your own children. Guys, Sister Brooke.
I just want to say one thing, right? We were talking about the difference in families. So I would say maybe about 3 Christmases ago, I was at a friend's house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they decided to play the Emmett Till movie, the new one. And I'm like, why would you play the Emmett Till movie on Christmas Day? Like, I was so offended by that, because that's not a day that you would play something. But I realized in that moment that that doesn't affect them like it affects me. There's no way that movie can't be on in the background and I'm laughing and joking and playing with my family. That's not, you got to cut that off. I can't function with that going on. And I watch, and you know, y'all know I watch a lot of crazy documentaries. So it's not that my spirit can't handle it, but it's Christmas. This is supposed to be a different time. This is, supposed to be a happy time with family. Whether you celebrate the actual holiday or whatever, I call all of these holidays as that's family time. And so, I couldn't be with my blood relatives. And so, being with extended friends and family, and then I kept requesting that it be turned off. And my request was not adhered to. It was just like, no, that's what we're going to put on. And I felt disrespected. Like
that is weird.
I felt extreme disrespect. And I'm gonna be honest, after that, I didn't go back.
Right. It's hard to. And see, that's the thing about the different cultures, cultural sensitivity. Because I can't imagine seeing nothing. Like, we don't even watch horror movies on Christmas. Now, mind you, it's a time, I didn't celebrate Christmas with my family. Like, we didn't do that. We were doing Kwanzaa, My mother celebrated Christmas. My grandmother celebrated Christmas, but we wasn't putting on Friday the 13th, and we wasn't putting on Dr. King or none of that stuff. We might put on The Wiz or play some music and cards, eat food and drink and talk smack. That's it. We having a good time, not nothing morbid like that, because it's not fictitious. It's real. Emmett Till was a real person.
A real person, a real situation that brings up real feelings for me and real tears. Y'all know how sensitive I am. It brings up real tears in the moment. Even if it was, that movie that wasn't that great, just knowing the situation, because that was not a great movie. But, just knowing the situation is just enough. It's enough to invoke something in me because of the situation. And what me and my little sister's tradition is? Oh, we love The Grinch That Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey. We watch that every single year. We be having little pajamas and footies and all. That is our thing. The Grinch That Stole Christmas. Okay, that's why I always say the unmitigated gall. That is my favorite line from that movie. Anyway, so that's our Christmas tradition. Is me and my little sister. We watch that movie. Even if we're apart, we'll watch it through Prime has this thing where you can watch with your family and stuff like that. At the same time, we've done that before. Like we're not even in the same state, but we got to watch it together. Like that's how much me and my little sister connect on that movie. So little cute movies is what you're supposed to be watching. What's that movie? The 34th Street with the tongue stuck on the lamppost.
34th
Why you supposed to be watching these? My mom likes them little Hallmark movies. Okay, yeah, you supposed to be watching little, what I'm saying, little cute stuff.
Look like beaches.
Like what?
Beaches.
That's an old school movie about trees.
It probably came out in the 90s, something like that.
Yeah, late 90s, maybe early 2000s.
It's a very white woman movie.
Okay, no, I'm not that. No. Jim Carrey was on In Living Color. Okay, we made Jim Carrey famous. All right, so that's not the same. Now, the Miracle on 34th Street used to be on TV. That was so. You didn't really have no choice. That used to be on TV every year. But I'm just saying, during Christmas time, these are the type of little things you're supposed to be watching, right?
Charlie Brown,
right?
And
something.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Even the entertainment is gentrified at that point.
But not Emmett Till. Not on Christmas. Not Emmett Till.
Not on Christmas.
I agree with
I'm
you.
all for Black history all the time. And so like I said, and this was before delineation, but it really showed me in real time that our connection to these stories or to this history is different. I could barely compose myself. They were drinking and laughing and eating and pretending like it wasn't even on, and ignoring my request to turn it. Me and the children. That's another thing. All the kids was like, we don't want to watch this. And for the first time, I'm like, yeah, I'm with the kids. I don't want to watch this either. So it's like they ignored our requests. And so I just, like I said, again, that is a testament to, my duality of how I live and grew up. You know what I'm saying? Being a foundational Black American in a completely Caribbean environment.
Well, let me ask you, did they tell you and the children, stop your blood clot crying? Everyone want heaven, no one want dead.
Kind of. Kind of. They were just like, I don't see the problem with it. It's I don't remember the accent or the word.
That's from the old movie. We all the fucking same. How's that?
Oh well, I mean,
they wouldn't have said
that. They're not gonna go too far with me. You know what I'm saying? But But yeah, it was just like, like this is my house and this is what we want to watch and this is what it's gonna be. And so that's why I haven't been back to the house since.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But again, like I said, different cultures. Different cultures. So why the need the destiny swap? That's bananas to me. We just had Juneteenth last week Friday. We just had Juneteenth. But everybody had this need to destiny swap. But before I get on that, something very great happened on Juneteenth. The U.S. is in the World Cup, and they're doing quite well, right? On Juneteenth, a young man by the name of Alex Freeman scored the winning kick to bring the U.S. to the #1 spot in the Group D. How crazy is that?
Crazy.
You're telling me a black man named Alex Freeman scored his first World Cup goal on Juneteenth to help advance the U.S. men's national team to the knockout round. Feels right now, because y'all know there was a day where Alex Freeman wouldn't have been able to play on the U.S. men's national team. To have such a big performance on Juneteenth, that's what I'm talking about.
The goal, your first ever in a World Cup. What was the feeling? What was the execution?
Yeah, I think it was surreal, right? Knowing that I was able to contribute to my team in any way I can. Obviously, at first it was disallowed, so I was kind of anxious when I went to VAR, and then just be able to kind of celebrate the whole thing with my teammates. I think that just made it come together as a whole, and just made the experience so well. I'm happy I can contribute to a clean sheet, but not only a clean sheet, but a win.
When the goal was confirmed, how would you describe the reaction of your teammates and what went through you?
Yeah, I think when it was confirmed, I looked back and they all started running, and I was like, "Oh."
As he travels, because he plays in other leagues in Europe. Shout out to the city of Baltimore, because that's where he comes from. His father, FBA, former NFL player. Please don't ask me. I told y'all before, I'm NFL illiterate. So you can Google it, but his father was a former NFL player. So for that to happen.
Antonio Freeman.
Okay.
Antonio
Whatever
Freeman.
my brother said, that's what it is. But that was a great thing, excuse me, to happen on Juneteenth. But at the very same time, people are trying to destiny swap and take over the holiday. Let's go to Ghana with its crazy foolishness. And I see a lot of y'all, because some of y'all who are Pan-Africans were spreading this bullshit.
Juneteenth is not only an American story, it is a global story, an African story, and a Ghanaian story. It reminds us that the struggle for freedom, dignity, and justice is universal and unending. In this castle that was once used to service the machinery of enslavement, we gather today to declare that freedom is unfinished without repairing the trauma and lasting injustice.
Oh, shit.
Now you have the people who are FBA, who now reside in the country of Ghana, who co-signed this bullshit. You are co-conspirators in the erasure of your own goddamn history. But you can't tell these idiots nothing. Let's go to my brother Sincere the Love God and Sister Nice T. Because you also had a mock slave auction on Juneteenth.
There's a book about how people in Ghana area helped some of the first slavers. And yeah, we're going to get into that today. We definitely going to get in. Well, I mean, we might as well just get in.
Don't get in it.
We talking about it now.
We're here. We're here.
So y'all see the title, man. If y'all saw that video of people down there in Ghana reenacting the slave trade, supposed to be in honor of Juneteenth, and a lot of us are looking at them like, no, this ain't it. We see it as disrespectful, out of touch. Out of touch is being light. You know what I'm saying? Just out of touch. That's giving you the benefit of the doubt. But honestly, it really,
I think they clowning.
Right. It really looks like some low key disrespectful shit that you thought we wasn't going to catch. Yeah, he said it's a book about.
Shout out to Sincere the Love God and Sister Nice Tea Girl. Please follow them on all social media platforms. But this is the BS that's been going on. And nobody think this is a goddamn problem. Then you had the people who are outside with their multicolored flags, you know, talking about they playing Afro beats and all this old kind of stuff, and not finding that to be disrespectful. How was you all right with that? How? This is crazy work. Then you have people who had celebrations for Juneteenth and all of these multicolored flags and saying all kind of wicked shit. Let me play this real quick because I want y'all to see some of what's been going on.
Is it playing? Is it supposed to be playing? Yeah, it's quiet.
Y'all couldn't hear it?
Nah.
Oh man. All right.
And it's still too.
Yeah.
All right. Let me try to do it again. Hold on. Can you hear it now or no?
No.
Sis, while you get that together, one of the things I was going to say is that level of disrespect of them hijacking Juneteenth, I wonder how would they feel if we celebrated Asafo Tufiyami here in America and we just had gang members acting out their tradition. Because Asafo Tufiyami, and I think I shared this with you, it's in August in Ghana. I've been there a couple of times where all the warring tribes reinforced their treaty by meeting together, having a big festival. It's something sacred to them. It reinforces their peace treaties amongst the warring tribes from over 100 years ago. Imagine if we start saying, yo, we doing Asafo Tufiyami over here in America, and we start doing mock tribal wars and things like that. They would find it disrespectful. But for some reason, they think they're honoring us, but they know at the core it's disrespectful. They're hijacking. It's just hijacking, trying to put themselves at the center again.
It's nasty. It's nasty. Hopefully y'all can hear it this time. If you can hear it, let me know.
Not a Black American holiday. Yes, I did not stutter. Juneteenth is not a Black American holiday.
There's no such thing as the United States of Africa. There's no such thing as the United States of Africa. So in the mind of an African, it makes sense that, oh, Juneteenth is not a Black American holiday. When we all know Texas is American soil, it's a Black American holiday. It's no different than the Harlem Renaissance or the Civil Rights Movement being birthed out of the South, the Black Power movement coming from New York and California. We all are impacted by it. It's an intersectionality amongst all Black Americans. But looking at it from an African mindset, they will not understand that because Africa is so divided. And that's why when it comes to Juneteenth, an African, a Caribbean shouldn't be the main character because it's not about them. Y'all are.
It's crazy. It's just crazy.
It's beyond crazy.
It's crazy. And then you got, people in their feelings about it. How you gonna be in your goddamn feelings about it? How? It don't make no goddamn sense. First of all, look at the flyer here. This is an FBA sister. She wasn't having it. But look at the flyer. Caribbean Juneteenth. Party in Brooklyn. That's wild. Go ahead, Sister Brooke.
One, she's Caribbean. She's just an ally.
No, I meant to say she's an ally. Thanks for the correction.
Yeah, she's an ally. But I'm gonna call bullshit on the Africans. The whole they're looking at it from an African mindset. No, you're looking at it from a thief mindset. You guys are thieves. You're not at this point in the year of our Lord 2026. You are not confused. You are purposely doing this bullshit. This isn't an accident. You know exactly what Juneteenth means. You know that it is the day that we got. They're not confused about their fucking Independence Days.
Right.
No matter what country it is, whether it's a Caribbean country, an African country, their Independence Days that are younger than my mama. Don't tell my mama that. Okay? I told her that I said that I'll be in trouble. But, you know what I'm saying? That's the all y'all countries that are younger than my mama, although my mama look younger than your country. But you understand what I'm saying? They are very well aware of what they're doing at this point. They know, especially that idiot, that same idiot, just like he was aware that he didn't have no money for that hotel room when he stole it. Don't sit here and then he talk about, oh, I didn't know. No, you scamming. Just you trying to scam our birthright. You're trying to scam our holidays. You're trying to insert yourself in it. I call bullshit. And that is why when I sent a video in the chat, I'm gonna stop talking till you play that video and then I'll go on.
Texas. Mind you, they turned off all the comments, so they know they under fire. The historical connections between Juneteenth and Caribbean emancipation highlight a shared legacy.
We don't need you there. We don't need your opinion on our culture or our music or our carnival. If you do not like soca,
is that Allison Hines?
No excuse under no conditions should trap music ever be played at Carnival.
Gatekeeping Carnival. There is no reason on this earth for anybody that's not from the Caribbean to be at Carnival. And I don't care how y'all feel on the subject. Yeah, no, I love Jada Waiter. But what the f do her and her American friends know about Carnival? You're not from the Caribbean. You don't know the music. You don't know the people. You don't know the food. You don't know the culture. What are you doing at Carnival?
Okay, highlight a shared legacy of resilience and a continuing journey toward justice and equality. You can't make this up.
All right, so apparently Caribbeans and Africans can't celebrate Juneteenth. Baby, I am black, okay?
I was always a Haitian. I was never a black.
Hell no. Hey, fuck no. Fuck no.
I will be celebrating Juneteenth, and I'm bringing Rio with me. I do not care.
When were y'all?
This is crazy, nasty work. But again, unlike your Caribbean Day parade, you wouldn't have it if it wasn't for us. Now, we covered that a few episodes before. See, I can go through the archives and see. We covered the history of the West Indian Day parade. You wouldn't have that if it wasn't for us. How dare you? Hold on, I'm going to play it, Brooke. Hold on.
So I just wanted y'all to see the date. Pause that. I wanted you to go back just a little bit because I want y'all to see the date. Right there. That is 2023. Okay. There is a vitamin company called Ola Inca. He is constantly posting our issues, our whatever's going on here in the country that have to do with us as a promo for his vitamin company. years ago. This is what he posted, and I called him out, and he blocked me on Instagram because of it. Because I called him out when he posted this as if it was supposed to be some sort of ode to us, just like how Ghana is doing right now. And I don't know if that was Ghana. I can't remember if that was Ghana or if I even wrote what country that was, because at the time I didn't give a damn. I called it out back then that this is mocking. If you let me see, let's see if I can read what it says there. Oh, matter of fact, let me try to read it on my daggone phone. Maybe it might make it easier on me. Let's see. I put, since he took it down, if Beyonce works with African artists, they call it cultural appropriation. If Michael B. Jordan wants to collaborate with Trinities to make liquor, which he did not choose the name, he just invested, they call it cultural appropriation. We make a movie calling Africans rich called Coming to America, and y'all call that cultural appropriation. This is outright mocking. Fuck this honor. Who the fuck is he that we need his honor? I don't need honor from coons. This is before the word tether. Y'all think we are stupid. Haven't y'all figured out yet that we are accustomed to people mocking us and pretending that it's praise? White tea people have been doing that. We see your fake honor. Your real feelings are here, not in fake ass concerts that collected millions of Black American dollars for their celebrity studded concerts, at the same time doing what they want with our money or votes. Get Black celebs and they will follow. See, I've been calling this shit out for a very long time. They have been doing this mocking thing where they mock us and the slave trade that they willingly participated in. That is, see, I'm gonna go back to Jim Carrey again. That's the unmitigated gall. How dare you sit there and try to participate in our independence when you the one who sold 1% of us in the first place? This is the very same reason why I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, like I appreciate it now, but I'll be honest and real, because I've said this before. When they decided to make Juneteenth a federal holiday, I wasn't with it, because I worked at a job where I don't get federal holidays off. And why the hell should white folks get the goddamn day off with pay? Why? And if you could do it where only we get the day off with pay, boom, I'm with that. But you can't do that. So I really wasn't with it. I saw the disrespect coming. I didn't see it coming as fierce as it has, but I knew that the disrespect was going to come as a result. Now, I'll say this. I also didn't see the family coming together like Voltron the way we have, and with the Cultural Compliance Committee. I'm gonna put that link in the chat. If you see Juneteenth violations, you got to submit it to the Cultural Compliance Committee. Okay, they are real boots on the ground doing work to get this kind of stuff taken down and changed, not like the fake ass the Freedmen Legal Fund. Yeah, I'm calling you out by name. Bullshitting like you actually do something and you don't do nothing but send AI letters. No, they're doing real things, going after sponsors, etc. They're the ones, and then the Arthur and his stupid legal fund goes back around, comes back after they've done the work, and then take credit for the work that they've done. And sit there talking about, we got it taken down. You didn't do shit. This is who you should file your Juneteenth violations with. I think it's BACC. Oh Lord, don't give me the line.
I got it in the chat. I got it.
Okay, thank you. It's BACC.grfba.org. That's it. Yes. So send those violations in. I've sent in a few. Every time I see one or somebody bring it to my attention, I log them in. You gotta sign up for an account. It's free. Just sign up for an account, and then they send you stuff. So You know, I did not foresee the way we have come together like Voltron. And if I saw that, then I probably wouldn't have been as against Juneteenth being a federal holiday. And I am all for it now. You understand what I'm saying? But at the time, I was like, why the hell should these white folks get the day off? Why the hell should these other people get the day off when I don't get the day off? When a lot of us who work in these fields don't get the day off. So that was my
Let me say, as far as that's concerned, on a legal issue, on a federal holiday, you can take that. You can take that day off. They just not obligated to pay you,
which is not a day off.
Okay, but I'm just saying as an option.
Because remember, I said specifically, white
everybody can't take it off. Everybody still can't take it off, depending on the profession you're in. So if you're in law enforcement,
day for me.
If you're in law enforcement, if you're in medical services, unfortunately, they can't. So
right,
but
exactly,
this holiday is unique, and that's what I'm saying. You know, as she said, everybody benefits. You know, everybody is leaning. This lean is heavy. Nobody is producing shit for us,
and I'm not with that part.
So this lean is heavy. Let me play this clip. And she also gets it. Hold on.
I want to immerse myself in their food, music, dialects, ethnic groups, traditions, folklore, literature, etc. Similarly, my Black American friends attending an island event would be immersed in island culture. There would be no jazz, hip hop, and soul food, not because those things aren't amazing, but because they aren't to be centered at the moment. Now, living in places like New York City with a huge Caribbean enclave can make this conversation a bit nuanced. And yes, as Black people across the diaspora, we have a common thread of emancipation. We are one. So it's not about exclusion and division. We can celebrate together. But it's also important to highlight and to center and to preserve individual cultures, right? Sometimes it's about you, sometimes it's about me, sometimes it's about us. Let's have a good time. Happy Juneteenth.
So, Empress AK.
You got shit like this popping off.
I wish I had seen that because I definitely would have submitted it. I ain't seen. Send me these links because I'm gonna submit them to the
submitted the one for Weeksville Heritage. I submitted that one because that was a big violation. You know, a huge violation. That pissed me all the way off. You know? Matter of fact, here you go.
Sort of part cookout, but there's also a block party component on the street. You can dance and just meet people out there. My name is Cynthia Gordy-Giwa. I'm the co-founder of Black Owned Brooklyn.
My name is Dr. Raymond Codrington. I'm the president and CEO of Weeksville Heritage Center, and we are at the 5th annual Juneteenth Food Festival.
The Juneteenth Food Festival was really designed to be an intergenerational space where all of Brooklyn can come together to celebrate Juneteenth in community.
It's an incredibly important history to know that this exists in central Brooklyn.
The earliest celebrations of Juneteenth were recorded as early as 1866. That is a testament to Black self-determination, Black sovereignty, but also the ways that we express ourselves through food, through celebration, through joy. The festival is rooted and grounded in African-American foodways. You'll also find vendors who reflect flavors from the Caribbean, Africa, and Latin America as a reflection of the breadth and depth of all of Black Brooklyn's community. So the first year we did the Juneteenth Food Festival, we only had 15 food vendors who sold out very quickly. It was a good problem to have. In the 4 years since, the only thing that's changed has been the numbers of vendors and visitors. I think it's really important to note that Black businesses are always about more than just selling goods and services. Black businesses are a reflection of culture and community. They are gathering spaces. They hold a lot of richness and texture and traditions. So it's like not just about what they sell. It's really about what they're bringing to the community.
This is our history. This is Brooklyn history. It's a history that everybody should know if they come visit.
It's sort of...
It's crazy. It's nasty work.
Crazy.
You got all these different flags, but I ain't seen
not one Juneteenth.
Not one Juneteenth or Black American Heritage flag. This is the bullshit I'm talking about. Brazilian flag, Mexican, Trinidadian, Haitian. We don't give a F. We don't give a F. That's some BS. But this is the kind of crap that's been going on. You know. Brother Devon, your thoughts?
Yeah, so you know, it gets frustrating sometimes and overwhelming to others. I just want the people to know that the U.S. Freedom Project is in this thing for the long haul. And I just can't wait for the day where we're having authentic Juneteenth events in this city that have the right flag, that are honoring the lineage, that are centering it around us, and having that tag of authenticity. Understand that if you want a authentic Juneteenth celebration about who Juneteenth is for and honoring, then you can come here. You know, almost like Death Row versus Bad Boys, right? If you don't want them dancing in your videos, come over here. And it's like, this is kind of where it's going to have to be, because unfortunately, even though I disagree with Sister Brooke on it being a federal holiday, I know she said she came around. I never had those reservations. I just knew, just like everything else with our culture, it was going to be co-opted, but I still believed it should have gotten the federal recognition that it deserved, right? Like, it's supposed to be a real holiday. So I get that. And something that is observed in that way and given that level of reverence, so to speak. But I do understand that all that was coming. But that is on us now to make sure, right? Because anybody, they wouldn't do it. But that's also the history of this country. They wouldn't create they wouldn't do this disrespectful stuff to other people in their holidays and observances, right? But the American way is to do that to us. And this is the biggest pitfall and con of Pan-Africanism, that it co-signs and encourages and empowers the Africa's diaspora to act the same way the white supremacists act when it comes to us.
Boom.
In the name of melanin, in the name of African descent, in the name of we're all one across the diaspora, even though that has never been the case in any substantial, real, tangible way. And so that's why they are fighting against us when it comes to disaggregation, delineation, ethnic autonomy in the political space, because they understand that once, and we talked about this before with the game board being on the backs of foundational Black American, and who it knocks the game over for. And like I said, you know, in this space, and what we've seen is that not only are there white supremacists sitting at that table playing that game on our backs, there are others represented by all the other immigrant groups in this country that have honorary seats at that table as well. And so, you know, that's why they enjoy and love vague terms like Black, like African American. That's why they fight so hard for them, right? And that's why they fight so hard for the colors of Juneteenth, not to be totally red, black, and green, but to be that gold, green, and red, so that it's close enough to say, oh, no, look, it's just for African Americans, but also use those vague terms and colors to sneak they sneaky asses in like they always do. In the words of my sister Keisha, to lean on us. And so we was having these conversations and checking people online on social media all day long on Juneteenth. And it was Pan-Africans excited and cheering on the fact that the wrong flag was being used. And this is why I call Pan-Africans the sleeper cells. And they empower their quote unquote Afro-immigrant jihadists to do what they do in the name of their religion. So they can get their 40 RBG virgins in the afterlife, right? This is the type of time that they're on. So there is no mistaking. There's no longer an excuse of ignorance, or I just didn't know, or I've been miseducated. Understand that there is an agenda afoot And the agenda is to undermine foundation Black Americans while making sure that we do not have political and ethnic autonomy, because the gravy train stops here once we get that. And before I take a breath so somebody can go, I want to stretch it all the way out because I could just go on and on about this topic. I'll say this. This is how you know. We've seen the disrespect, and I'll let Brother Tad talk about the Ghana connection because he's actually been there. But it's disrespect all around. And here's how we know that it's blatant disrespect and not just miseducation. Because June is Caribbean Heritage Month. You have Juneteenth and you have June 19th. If you wanted to throw an event, it just so happens to fall on June 19th, it can be the 19th day of June, celebrating Caribbean heritage. But that's not what they do. They pretend it's to honor Juneteenth, and then they center Caribbean heritage so that when they're checked, they bring up the month, but they don't name the event Caribbean Heritage Event, which they can do. And I want to say this for the record, and I'll land here. The gaslighting doesn't work anymore. The whole concept of, they're saying Afro-immigrants can't celebrate Juneteenth. Nobody's saying that, and you know we're not saying that. And that lame-ass tactic is no longer working. Here's what I was going to say. Here's what we're saying. Here's what I'm saying. Come celebrate. But remember who the holiday and who this observance is commemorating. Y'all are not banned because you come and celebrate the day of my ancestors with me. You're banned because your Caribbean and African asses are invited to my birthday and got the nerve to blow out my motherfucking candles when it's my birthday.
Okay, the show's over. Show's over.
And that's what's no longer going to be accepted. Come bring your ass, come celebrate, and bring me a gift. You don't get to blow out my candles and make a wish. That's my wish, because it's my birthday. Just like I wouldn't go to your party and blow out your candles. But Pan-Africanism has empowered them so much that they think they get our candles and their candles. And that's what's no longer happening. And it don't matter if you paint us as the bad guys. Say goodnight to the bad guy.
Good night to the bad guys. It's done for you. It's done for you. But even with this whole swapping, this video came across my desk. And you see the title of it? It says The History of Flatbush. Now,
and look at the flags.
The history of Flatbush. Now, y'all don't got to listen to us on Thorough Black Talk. I've encouraged you all, go watch The Gilded Age. If you want to know the history of Brooklyn. This is erasure right here. The history of Flatbush with the Trinity flag, Jamaican flag, and a Haitian flag.
Yep.
Flatbush is basically the Caribbean capital of New York City.
Flatbush is basically the Caribbean capital of New York City. If you can't afford that flight to Jamaica, Trinity, or St. Lucia, just come to Flatbush because you're basically there. You can meet people here from any islands that you never even heard of before. You can get Guyanese food, Jamaican food, Haitian food, Trinity food, whatever you want, you can get here. You can catch that dollar van. Go get yourself a beef patty, even though juicy patty isn't hitting the same as it is in the Caribbean. You're better off going to Tasties or CC's. Go to the Chinese shop, but most people don't know that Flatbush is actually one of the oldest neighborhoods in New York City. Long before the Caribbean community arrived, Flatbush was actually a Dutch settlement called Midwoud founded in 1651. Mid-Route, meaning Middlewood, it got that name because it sat between Bushwick and Brooklyn. And if you're confused by that, Flatbush was one of the original 6 Dutch towns on Long Island, which at the time included what would eventually become modern-day Brooklyn. Those towns were Brooklyn, Flatbush, Flatlands, New Utrecht, Gravesend, and Bushwick. Later, the English adapted the Dutch name Vakkelbos, meaning flat woodland, which would eventually become the Flatbush we know today. And for centuries, Flatbush was mostly farmland. And during the late 1800s and early 1900s, Flatbush became one of Brooklyn's first major streetcar suburbs, which attracted Irish, Jewish, Italian, and other European immigrant families. But after World War II, things shifted. Like many neighborhoods across New York City, Flatbush experienced white flight. Federal housing programs made it easier for white families to purchase homes, especially on Long Island. At the same time, through discrimination like redlining, Black families were denied loans, denied mortgages, and steered away from certain neighborhoods altogether. But as Brooklyn became more integrated, more Black families moved into neighborhoods that were previously white. And this happened due to the Great Migrations, where a lot of Black families moved from the South to escape Jim Crow laws and to seek more opportunities. This is the part that often gets left out because African Americans or Black Americans don't often get enough credit as they should. They helped build Black New York City, especially Black Brooklyn, and they laid the building blocks for the Caribbean community to even come here and to build what they have built today. And don't get me wrong, it's iconic, but the Black community came here, started businesses, churches, and established themselves, raised families. They fought discrimination, they fought for housing, opportunity, and education so that the Caribbean community could build upon what was already there. African Americans walk so the Caribbeans can run. In 1965, the U.S. passed an immigration law that had removed many of the restrictions that had limited immigration from places outside of Europe. And that's when the floodgates opened for the Caribbean. Immigrants from Jamaica, Haiti, Guyana, Barbados flooded into New York. And of course, they settled in communities like Flatbush. Why? Because Brooklyn College is right here, has easy subway access. There were job opportunities. And most importantly, there was Black community already starting to establish themselves here. Over time, Flatbush became one of the largest Caribbean communities anywhere outside of the Caribbean itself. The exact residents who made Flatbush iconic, that gave Flatbush its seasoning, that built the grocery stores, the bakeries, the restaurants, are being priced out. Iconic businesses are shutting down left and right, and Flatbush is definitely getting gentrified and changing, just like many other ethnic communities in New York. And you can see this with buildings like this. This affordable housing development right here requires a income starting roughly at $110,000 per year, where the median income in Flatbush is roughly $80,000 per year. So who is this being built for? Because it's not the residents. The residents can't afford to live here. That's when gentrification comes in, because if it's not for the residents, then it's for other people to come in, rent these properties, buy out other properties. And before you know it, poof, the people that were here, that built the culture here, can no longer afford to be here anymore. And we've already seen this with crazy numbers of Black New Yorkers having to leave New York because of just this. You can rebuild luxury development, but you can't rebuild the culture that made Flatbush so iconic. That can't be rebuilt. The vibes can't be rebuilt. That's that.
Your thoughts, Sister Brooke, on that?
Oh, yes. Okay. I was going to be patient, but oh, yeah, because, you know, this is where I grew up. So if you could go back to the video, go back to the video real quick, because I want to show you something. When she was on Nostrand Avenue, I wanted to show you what's closed.
I got to play the whole thing. Hold on.
Oh, it won't let you move forward? Okay.
No.
Well, I'll talk about other things till we get there.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so, you know, I have friends who wait, hold on. You better get ready to pause. Hold on. Right there. Pause. Right there. You see that in the back? That's Fisherman's Cove.
Mm-hmm.
That is a really big chain Jamaican restaurant.
Right.
What does that say on there? For rent. They are losing their businesses. And I don't give a fuck. Because when it was us, they did. You see what she said? African Americans walked so that Caribbeans could run. And now you're going to have to run from Flatbush. So you did not care when y'all was coming in. And this is, I've said this before, and President Devine talked a little bit about this, but I've said it before, that because of melanin and because of Pan-Africanism, we welcomed y'all into our communities. right? Because you looked similar to us, because you had melanin, because we weren't necessarily about Pan-Africanism, but that's what it ended up being. We were more about global blackness. I say this all the time. When I did, let me tell you something. I was unaware of the Pan-African history of that red, black, and green flag. I thought that flag meant black. I have a keychain. I could go find it a little bit later that had that flag on it, and it said Afro on it. It didn't say Pan-African. I didn't even know what that meant, and that's my own ignorance. And as I'm learning more about what it actually means, you know what I'm saying? But we were about global blackness. And now, because we welcomed y'all into our communities, we did not know that you were going to turn on us and gentrify us out of our very own communities. And then once you gentrified us out of our communities, you welcomed who you saw camaraderie with, and it wasn't with us, it was your fellow immigrants. And now, those fellow immigrants who do not share the same color as you or race as you are now gentrifying you out of your homes. And that was the chain of solidarity. And it started up with us having solidarity with you, unfortunately. And then you didn't have solidarity with us. You had solidarity with white immigrants. You have more solidarity with the Dot Indians. You have more solidarity with Chinaman. And that's what y'all call him, not me. You have more solidarity with anybody other than us, the Pakistans, the anybody, the Hispanics, anybody but us. You got more solidarity with them. And so now it is your turn to lose your businesses. It is your turn. And she sat there and she talked about them dollar cabs, which are illegal. But y'all were allowed to run up and down Flatbush Avenue, causing fucking traffic jams, causing traffic accidents, getting into accidents, hopping out the damn car and leaving it in the middle of the street with a car full of fucking people. And you were allowed to do these things while they were locking us up for selling freaking DVDs and socks and books. But y'all was okay with that. And now you want me to march with you over your D theft? No, ma'am. No, sir. Not only that, but you guys were aware. You guys were aware that they were giving y'all loans that they weren't giving us. Because I've heard some of y'all tell me how you got VA loans. When you knew that us, the Black Americans, were not getting those same VA loans. And that's how you got 2 and 3 houses in the community that we built. You were allowed to bring your shower posse over here and rain bullets down on the hood. And then you didn't serve the same consequences, because when Black Americans shot back, they got football numbers in jail. Y'all got 2 or 3 years and was allowed to go back to Jamaica. These are facts. These are facts. Y'all wasn't getting football numbers like we was getting football numbers and life sentences for crack. Y'all was able to go back to do 1 or 2 years, go back to Jamaica, then come through the Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic or whatever, and come right back to the United States and do it all over again. We know. You think we don't know? And that's the thing. Y'all think we stupid. We are not the rank and file members of the people in your homelands. We know our history. We've been living here for a long time. We know. And if I didn't know, if I couldn't read, if I couldn't do any of those things, all I had to do was go down the block and talk to my uncle. Talk to OG Tad. Talk to Big Sis Keisha. That's you know why? Because they was here. And before I was alive, they were here. Or if I was too young to notice or care or was in the church, because I told y'all that's where I was at 2-3 times a week. You know what I'm saying? All I have to do is talk to the older people in my family because they were here. I remember I had to explain to somebody when they were sitting there talking about how, oh, New Yorkers don't want certain jobs and da-da-da. I was like, do you understand how New York City, Manhattan used to make clothes? Do you know how many factories we used to have in Brooklyn? I had to explain to a Caribbean friend of mine. I said, let me tell you something. Back in the day in Manhattan, it was nothing for you to see somebody walking a rack full of clothes from the maker, from the manufacturer, right to Macy's, right to the boutique, right to wherever, right to where they just walking right down the street. Before they started sending all the manufacturing jobs out of the country. So when people sit here and lie, y'all don't understand what made this city run. What made this city the way it is. And then I'm just going to end off where I was saying, you know what, I'll hold that to the end. I'll hold that to the end because I want to talk about the Bayesian president. But I'll hold that to the end. I'll hold on to that. I'll land there. For now.
Okay. All right. I want to play this clip because it talks about something you said. Shout out to Marcel Dixon.
Shout out.
Yes. Hold on.
Not based on race. It's based on status. A black person who comes here from Nigeria or Jamaica or Brazil, they're not owed a penny from America. They chose to come here. We are talking about the people who are freedmen, the descendants of people emancipated by this country. We still know those people because you are one of those people. I am one of those people. A lot of those people here in the audience, I just told you I could break down my genealogy. My dear Nana was 101 when she died. My great-grandfather just died 3 weeks ago. He was 100. He remembers fighting alongside white veterans in World War II. He remembers coming back and seeing his white veterans get homes and lands and pensions and the door being slammed in his face. And we are going to say that America that says liberty and justice for all, that's okay. Get over it. Keep it moving. While we have to hear never forget for everyone else's tragedy. And as far as from where reparations will come, I need people to stop thinking is going to come from their tax dollars. Look at all the trillions that America spends right now. We talk about inflation, the invisible tax. We have something called the PPP loans. Do we remember the PPP loans? America spent $6 trillion on PPP loans. You know what they just did? They canceled all of it. And we didn't even know. America gave the corporations, the banks alone, $29 trillion. You know what they did with that? They canceled all of it. So let's stop acting as if America is as hamstrung by debt as they want to pretend. Because when America wants to pay for something, they find a way to do it. And truth be told, the corporations, again, aren't hurting. The defense manufacturers aren't hurting. It's only Americans who are hurting. And that is a choice. We all know it's a choice. That's why we're running for office, because we know this country can do better. So I refuse to accept that this country can't do right by a people they've wronged for centuries. And I refuse to accept that any justice-minded person thinks that's the right thing to do.
But I'll say that's the best explanation that I've heard of that. So thank you for that.
You can check out his documentary on Amazon Prime too as well. But we all tired of it. We all tired of it. Shout out to Hood Smart. Hold on.
You look African, so for you to be talking down on any other race when you look the race that
So
you
when you say look African, you know
have
the so-called
African phenotype. Yes.
Black?
No, African, Ghana, like those people. That's what you look like.
What does a Ghana look like? What does being Ghana look like?
Come on, like are we gonna play games like we don't understand?
I don't understand.
Okay.
But we know you Haitian though. We know that for sure.
That's cool, but you need to find out whether or not you're from Ghana.
I can explain what a Haitian.
I know where I'm from.
You know why you
and I got to look to it.
You know how I know you Haitian?
What?
Because y'all got a very distinct look. You know what that
and
look
you
is?
have a very distinct look as an African.
What's a distinct look?
what's the distinct to me then? If that's the case,
see, you
look like an African.
Then what features are you talking about then?
The nose, that mouth, that's an African phenotype.
Oh, you think so? Okay. Oh.
Yes.
Y'all know, let's go get my cousin. I look like this?
Yeah. If your nose is a little more down,
yeah.
You got that same mouth.
Nose too. Your nose
if it was a little more flatter.
We look alike. Same
If you had a little more, if it was a little flatter, then maybe.
I can make it right now. Look. We look alike.
If it was a little flat.
Does me and this African statue look alike? I'll meet your mic.
A little bit. Not gonna lie. Yes, it does look like you.
Okay, that's not an African statue. That is an American statue.
You always gotta trap him like that.
Got him.
It's crazy. But again, they not telling the Indians that. They don't tell. Why is there such a need to prove us wrong? Why is there such a need to Africanize us? Why is that? Why don't you do it with other groups? Why is it just us? Because the other groups ain't got the source. They ain't the source. And that's what they don't want to admit. That's why in that space we went to, I had to say what I had to say. You are so used to leaning on us, you can't stand on your own. What's your identity? Worry about that. If you're from St. Vincent, why don't you try to convince people from St. Vincent they are Africans? That they shouldn't identify as St. Vincentians. They should identify as Africans. Why don't you ask Grenadians, why don't they identify as Africans? They not Grenadians, they Africans. You got a whole Haitian chick up here talking about she's Haitian, admitting she's Haitian, but she's not trying to identify herself as African, which you should, because the majority of those who came across the shores went to your very homelands. It's not the same over here. We're going to tell a story, you got to tell a story right. And that's what's part of this whole Pan-African conscious movement bullshit. You like to say things that'll make you feel good, that'll fall in line with a particular narrative. You don't want to tell the truth. And that's the problem. You got to tell the truth. So instead of them having mock slave auctions in Ghana, guess what the hell they should have been talking about?
Sold and owned over 400,000 slaves in total. Ifrunroy Tinubu. Not only did she own 360 of her own personal slaves, but was also a powerful aristocrat thanks to her being one of the largest intermediaries between Africans and the European slave trade. She served European, Brazilian, and Portuguese traders, providing thousands of African slaves, palm oil, and firearms in exchange for her eminent wealth. When the slave trade was abolished, she continued to trade African people to Europeans, which eventually led to her exile. Queen Nzinga, while she is commonly revered as the queen who saved her kingdom from the colonizers, that did not come without her selling over 200,000 captives to them to do so. This was all an effort to resist.
Hold on a second. Now, Tag can confirm.
Yeah, I was about to say, hold on. He just, go ahead, sis. Go ahead, sis.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
No, I just that's the first I heard of that, but go ahead, finish your thought.
They don't talk about this part though, because it don't fit the goddamn narrative. That's why. You got all these little girls whose parents grew up in the movement and they named the goddamn daughters Nzinga. Now run tell that. You can't just say, and you know, peace be upon Steve Coakley. Amos Wilson. He warned us. Beware of feel-good history. Beware of feel-good history. Why ain't tell this part of Queen Nzinga? Hold on.
Portuguese influence, that is what she is revered for, despite her heavily contributing to the slave trade. Meet the Naras and Donas, the elite female slave traders and entrepreneurs in West and Central Africa. Through alliances and marriages with European traders, they consolidated wealth and influence, shaping local economies. Some owned ships, plantations or urban properties and financed expeditions. They were highly respected in the field of selling slaves because it was a field, a profitable one. This is not an attempt to minimize the obvious and disgusting treatment slaves received when they got to the States. This is a real look into what slavery was. It was not a race-fueled capture of Black people. They were handed to them, sold to them, and their money made these African women rich, respected, and admired to this day. Meet the woman.
Huh. You know, they don't want to tell this part, you know, because it don't make it feel good. Brother Divine, Brother Tad.
Go ahead, Brother Tad.
I'm still letting it register because I'm thinking about all the trips to Africa when I was gun-ho and I was all the way over there and I was over there in August celebrating the Sapo Tukiyami and talking about the importance in Ghana, which where it belongs. But I believe the people are called the Damying people or something like that. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, it's so much destiny swapping going on. And about Queen Nzinga, you know, that's new information. But again, this is why we've delineated, me and Sister Keisha, myself, you know, because we were literally in these spaces. We were prominent in these spaces. We were leaders in these spaces. But what we did see is there was no truth and authenticity, a lot of regurgitation and rhetoric. That's why me and Sister Keisha always stood on honor your immediate ancestors. Yeah, pour libations for the ancestors. You know, all the Dumades and the Lunkalunks and all of them. Do all of that. But what about grandma? What about mama, granny, and all of them? What about the ones you knew, your great-grandparents that you were fortunate to know? We just pushed them to the side like they didn't exist? And that's our direct lineage and bloodline? Do we negate that to honor some people halfway across the world? And me and my sister always stood on that. Always stood on that. But then as we see within the movement, things weren't being checked. Certain behaviors were being green lighted and okay. And the quote unquote elders weren't eldering. They wasn't checking this behavior. Everybody's scared to speak. They don't want to rock the boat and ruffle no feathers. We like, nah. So me and Sister Keisha became a problem. We became the problem because we was calling stuff out. And you ain't supposed to say nothing because these are some people teachers or master teachers. And like, nah, fuck him. He wrong. He wrong. You know how many people deleted and blocked me because I've been anti-Umar for years because I seen that he really wasn't about that life. I'm like, nah, now he playing in our face. Nah, brother. And people want to say people are jealous. I'm like, jealous of what? Every time people see me out, you see me with my children. You see me with my family. And even though me and my daughter's mother was separating back then, nobody knew because she still came out and supported. Nobody knew. We was going through our personal stuff. But it wasn't for public consumption. We still a Black family. We still humans. We still got problems and situations that we can resolve and some we can't resolve. But you never seen her out here, oh, he full of shit and he a fake and he taking y'all money and it wasn't none of that. Wasn't none of that going on. But when we were calling out the fake leadership, everybody like we wrong, we hating, and that's when I knew our folks wasn't serious. From many elders to the new up and comings, and it's like, come on, man, we not serious about our quote unquote liberation. Because that's what we're saying, right? We's doing liberation work, right? But then we can't call out and chastise certain behaviors under the name of Pan-Africanism, under the name of Black nationalism. We wrong for calling out bad characters. Nah, I said, oh, these people are not serious. Same as in my family. If somebody wrong in my family, we're going to call you out. And if you don't shape up, we shipping you out. You're not welcome to the family functions till you get your mind together. And that's it. And it's like, so, yeah. This. And I wonder how people are going to receive this. Because people will get mad when you mention Garvey's view on Black Americans.
Yep.
People will get mad when you bring that up, but it's
Yep.
the truth. Now watch how they get mad when it starts spreading that Queen Nzinga had slaves. She was part of the slave trade. She was sending folks over here, and people want to make it seem like European slavery was more brutal than African slavery. That is not true. If you wanted to work with the Queen in Ghana, at least, I'll say this for the Ashanti Kingdom, you had to get your as they say in roots, you had to get your full two cuts. You had to get castrated. You had to become a eunuch if you want to work with the king. That's in Ghana. When they bust you upside the head and they did torture you, they made a cast of your face and put it on a sword that killed you. And they go around just deleting dudes. All this is in their museum. What I've seen, I got so much recordings and documents. I really need to do something with that. Hopefully I can find it. Ain't none of this I'm making up. If anybody been to the King's Palace in Kumasi. In Kumasi, the King's Palace Museum in Kumasi. That's where it is. Not to be confused with Accra, which is the capital. And where they have the Sapo Tufiyami, that's in the section called Big Ada. Because you got Big Ada and you got Little Ada. None of these places are close to each other. I was all over the place in Ghana. I wasn't in one central spot, not in the tourist spot. I was all over. I was in the poor villages, all of that. So what I'm talking about is factual. And I dare anybody to tell me I'm lying because I got receipts. I'm receipt man. And it's just so crazy. Yeah, sing it, bro. Right? It's just so much disrespect that goes on. Because even with the Sapo Tufiyami, it's for Ghanaian people. It's from when they were warring, they're reinforcing their tribal treaty. Now, what if we took that and co-opted? We got to stop playing with this. And many of these people who claim to be Pan-African haven't made their way to Africa yet. They haven't. And if they love it so much, do like everybody else do and move there. That was my initial goal when I first started going over there. But then I started seeing it for what it is and was like, nah, this shit ain't Wakanda. I got it twisted. I bought into the lie that they were selling me over here.
Give me something small.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm out. And the last time I went in 2019, they wanted to install me as a chief of development. And I said, no. My elder, God bless her soul, Mama Eileen, said, well, why you don't want to do it? I said, I already got enough commitments with organizations that I was over here a part of, and then with my family. I'm like, and I did have my plate full, but not just that. The chief of development means that I'm going to be responsible for developing this village.
That's what I was about to say. They want your money, Dad. They want that American dollar you got.
Sister Keisha, soon as I got off the plane and they got me to the hotel, they tried to whisk me off. So, all right, so we got to get you these sandals. We got to get you the kente cloth. Whoa. I got sandals. No, you need the special sandals. I said, how much all this going to cost me? They said, about $900 to $1,000. Y'all niggas crazy. I ain't doing this shit. So I ain't doing this shit. Y'all
I see the
robbing me. And
that's right.
$1,000 US. Give them $1,000 to be in charge of bringing more money. I'm good. So when people be telling me they a chief over on the continent, that's not a flex. It took me 2 visits and they was already like, yeah, we're going to make you a chief. 3rd visit, they was considering. They was like, yo, 4th visit, it's up. Come on, we're going to make you a chief. Chief of what? I can't be the chief of finances. Like y'all send me bread. The chief of development.
You was going to be like Chief Keef.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Like, yo, like is we dead serious? I'm like, nah, I'm good on that. But again, this is what a lot of people are running over there for. You know what I'm saying? Because what it is they don't feel valued here. They don't have the clout that they look for here, so they go to lesser places. I ain't saying it's a lesser place, but people who is not as prominent as we are over here. And when I was there, one of our dollars was 10 of theirs. They call it dollar CDs. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. So I go over there with $100. That's $1,000 of their dollars. I'm up. I got $1,000. I got 10,000 of their money. I'm living well.
But don't forget, Tad, you know, it's a special price for you.
Oh yeah. Because when you go to the dungeons, everywhere you go, it says Ghanaians and think foreigners. Yeah, I think it says Ghanaian citizens and foreigners, separate price. Separate.
But you black. But you black, Tad.
Yeah, I'm black, but they black like this. I'm not black like this. You know, I'm a different kind of black. Yo, one of them asked me was I mulatto. I was laughing like, nah, I ain't no mulatto. He
Yeah,
said,
they call a lot of light skinned people. If you light skinned and you don't know an African language, to them you a white man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I thought
I'm
I was
literally
a brother.
saying that. Yeah.
I know. And that's what was so funny, because even when I listen to their talk radio, their news radio, like they have independence, but they don't have sovereignty. So even when Homegirl was talking, when they was talking about the slave markets outside the dungeons, remember she said castles. They call those castles. I'm like, yo, y'all done forgot y'all position over here. It's castles for white people and dungeons for black folks. Those the dungeons. Imagine me calling Rikers Island the castle. Like, yeah, they locked me up. They sent me to the castle. I was chilling in the castle. There ain't no castle. It's a dungeon. And I seen the trap doors where the priests and all of them go down to the female quarters and have their way with the women. I was all up and through there. You know, it's an experience. It's an experience. So when you come back here and you hear people talking about it in books nah, man, ain't nothing like being there. The lived experience. Smelling the salt water, feeling the air. You can really imagine being back there in the 1600s, the 1500s. Yeah, it's definitely a torture chamber. Because if you see how high and small the windows are, and then it has sick quarters where you go to pass away. Because I went to the Elmina Castle, rather Elmina dungeon and Cape Coast. Those are the two dungeons I've been to. The doors of no return. And then I've been to the markets and all that. I've been out there, man. I seen them on the side of the road literally selling bushmeat. Bushmeat is not one particular animal. It's whatever they get out the bushes. One time I seen them sell, they was on the side of them. I'm not bullshit. I got to find these pictures. It was like a big ass bat they were selling. A huge bat on the side of the road. A dead deer. The deer had crosses in the eyes with his tongue hanging out like a cartoon character. I'm like, yo, because I asked him, I said, yo, what's that? He said, bushmeat. I said, what kind of animal is a bushmeat? He said, whatever you find in the bushes. They just and they bust it down. They bust it down. You know, the chicken is free range, as they like to call it, because it literally be crossing the road. You see the cows out there. All this I got on video and pictures, and I'm going to put it all together. But again, it's an experience. And every experience is interpreted by your level of consciousness. In the beginning, it was cool. By the third and fourth time, because the third time I was going to put hands on somebody over there, that I literally went back and I cried, because I was like, it was a Jamaican dude too. I was like, damn, I'm about to hurt this bro. I'm about to treat him like we on Fulton Street in Ghana. Because they never heard me curse before or nothing. And I was like, yo, I told him, yo, I'm fucking tired of you. He's like, I said, nah, fuck that. I said, say anything. Say how I chew. I'm going to knock you the fuck out. Say anything. There's a brother tag. Nah, fuck that. Brother tag gone. And yo, by the grace of God, he didn't say nothing. Because, yo, I said, yo, for 10 days, I just sat and listened to you bitch and moan. I'm just tired of you now. Shut the fuck up. Yo, I really went there. I just went old school. But hear me, Brother Divine, I felt bad because here we in the motherland. We supposed to treat this like it's sacred. You know, we black brothers and we come back to reconnect with our roots. And he had me on my best style shit. Because the whole time, just complaining. I was trying to be gracious. And I asked some sisters, I said, do you think I overreacted? They said, yo, you was good. So I don't know how you did it this long. But I was just tired. You know, and sometimes people take your kindness for weakness. But being on the continent, you have this expectation of how we supposed to behave, how we supposed to treat each other. Yeah, it's Scam Central. Scam Central. My phone was blowing up with emails that a prince was trying to get in touch with me. I left some gold and money back in Africa. I'm like, oh boy. Oh boy. They tried to sell me a suitcase, a bum-ass suitcase for $400 US. Like, I wish our Pan-African brothers and sisters really go back to the motherland and get an experience and interpret it. Because we all have different experiences. You know what I'm saying? Some people go, they fall in love with it, they stay. Others, such as myself, said, I'm not going to be snake charmed by this foolishness. I'm out. I'm going back home. I'm going back to New York where everything's overpriced and overcrowded. But at least they changed the sheets at the hotel. Because they didn't even change the sheets in my hotel. I said, yo, what is this? Sandy ass, dirty ass sheets, I swear. I say, yo, they are wilding. They are wilding. And then we see videos of other people, you know, who get their homes broken into, who get disrespected. Like, this is a reality. This is a reality. And the people don't want to be honest. So here they are, here in our backyard, disrespecting us. Juneteenth, I was driving all through Flatbush, and you'd have thought it was Labor Day or some shit. Because the way they was turned up for Juneteenth, I was like, damn, they going harder than we are. You'd think they from Galveston, Texas or some shit. Like, they was turned all the way up. Shout out to them in Haile Selassie and Ting and Ting. But, you know, I tell you, the experience of learning, because I'm a student as well when we on the bridge, you know, to learn about Queen Nzinga and the things as such, you know, it's eye-opening. But we already see the traces and remnants when you really deep into that movement, into that psyche, and it becomes a cult because nobody sticks together. When you get in the Pan-African space, it's not unified. You got to be with Dr. Such and Such or Dr. Such and Such. You can't just get the information. And I'm not going to say no names, but if you're in the movement, you know all of these master teachers don't get along. You know all of them don't see eye to eye. Many of them not even trying to practice unity. That's like parents telling the kids, the siblings, to get along, but mommy don't respect daddy and daddy be beating up mommy. You want us to act right, but y'all not even being the example y'all telling us to do. Come on, cut it out. You know, but I'm glad we got this going on. We got a sophisticated audience because, this Pan-African phenomenon got to be studied because it's on antiquated information when people thought we didn't have a culture, when we believed the lies that was told to us that we're not from here. Some of us are, some of us was brought over here. We know that to be a fact. But in the grander scheme of things, it's all about a land grab. The people are trying to tell you you're not where you from, so you don't have a connection. So you look for yourself outside of yourself. So here you are, you on the motherland, you out in Jamaica, you everywhere else but where your grandmother told you she from, because her grandmother told her. They remember when they was bringing Africans over. You look at roots again. Kunta Kinte's wife, Belle, said, I ain't from Africa. My family been here. Belle said that to Kunta Kinte. But again, when roots were sold to us, we didn't really have the consciousness. That's back in the 70s where everybody was trying to reclaim their African roots. So everybody was watching with a different level of consciousness. But when you go revisit roots, it's all there. It's all there. All of it. Africans kidnapped Kunta Kinte. It wasn't the white man. He stood on top of the hill, but he watched Africans capture Kunta Kinte and his girlfriend Fanta. His girlfriend name was Fanta from another village. He was from the village of Jufare. And Fanta changed her name. She didn't even want to be Fanta no more. Once she got to America, she just lost her complete identity. She didn't want to be that no more. She hated Kunta Kinte. She told him, get away and don't come back, and started screaming anytime he came because he was trying to get her so he could escape. But that's how brainwashed she was. Like many FBA over here. Brainwashed with foreign thoughts and ideas. Because if my grandparents say it ain't so, then it ain't so. They should know who we are better than some dude looking for himself, wrote a book. did a lecture or two, made some DVDs. So with that, I'm stepping off my soapbox. Because again, I've been to the motherland 4 times, and I didn't go back by choice. They constantly like, yo, Brother Tag, when you coming back? When you coming back? And I met some good people there. I ain't gonna lie to you. I met some good people there. And I'll visit, but I ain't staying.
There you go. There you go. Well, we come to the end of our program, family.
Yeah.
We're about to get the folks up out of here. Brother Black, your final thoughts and commentary.
Yeah, bro, very interesting take, Brother Tad, being that I lived over there, and pretty accurate. I just want to talk about a few things before we head out tonight. We had some big things going on in this country in particular, going off the FBA topic, but not totally. We had Clive Davis pass away last week. We all know about him, but I've been mad with Clive Davis since Phyllis Hyman. Now, I don't know if
May he rest
you
in
older
peace.
guys, brother, yeah, okay, so then you know. It was rumored that he also offed her to, she jumped out of a hotel building, whether she was pushed or what have you, no one knows, or some people know. And I find it interesting that he passes just after Diddy got sentenced, in that it's the same thing that what happened with, in my opinion, and I told people that was going to happen when Joe Paterno passed away, when his one of his assistant coaches got caught diddling young black boys. So I said the same thing when Diddy got convicted. Clive Davis is going to pass away before he had the age anyway. So in certain cases, you can't always believe that they passed away because they was old. I didn't hear any reports of him being sick or any of that. So it is what it is. For all we know, he could be under an assumed identity and move somewhere. And even if he's still sick, he wasn't going to pass away. They gave him if it was planned, it's called a Rommel death. ROMMEL. And it means that we'll let you die with a good reputation, but we killed you just to get you out of here. Alan Greenspan, the same thing. I find it coincidental that these 2 men died on the day that Trump made the prime minister of the UK resign. His name is Keir Starmer. So even though we're not covering these things are very important, because it's also determining how the new economy is going to come in. Too complex to explain right now. I'm just giving y'all some information that you can look at. Okay, now we got the solar flares, and Schumann resonance is still popping. It's record heat in Southern Europe right now, and they got them crackers over there dying. So imagine if it stayed this way for the next 3 months. Like every day, 95 degrees, humid as F. They banned public drinking in the streets of Paris. Never happened before, because people drinking and then they fainting in the street and either dying or like dehydrated, because when you drink, you're gonna sweat.
Yeah, temperatures are 110 and higher.
Pretty much.
And they ain't got no AC.
Pretty
So
much.
it's funky
Most
over
of
there.
Paris, yeah, and it stink like a mug.
Musty,
and they got rats
musty.
just like New York City do. So you already know that's all.
Musty rats. Sorry.
No, you good, Sister Brooke. He's good. And then I just wanted to say is one more thing before I go, that Carmelo Anthony now has a new team. I don't know why these black people didn't get on the team in the beginning, so he wouldn't have to be going through what he was going through. It's obvious he was railroaded. He's gonna get out. I said that last week, and I'm guaranteeing he'll be out soon. He ain't gonna do too long because he was railroaded. And with that said, because we way over time, I don't want to take too much time. I'm gonna wish y'all the best, all the love. Happy Juneteenth for the rest of the month. Might as well ride it out. And we'll see you on the bridge next week. Peace and love to my family. Love y'all. One love. See y'all next week on the bridge. One love.
Brother Divine, Your final thoughts and commentary. Let's get the people up out of here.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. I thank you for highlighting and showing that video. I already knew about the Queen and Zinga because, you know, dealing with these tethers and you know, talking about this concept and you know, just pushing back against the Pan-African argument of quote unquote good slavery, right? Like Brother Taz said, they like to juxtapose that with the European chattel slavery, and essentially once you're making that comparison, you're saying that one was better than the other, and that is a common Pan-African argument. In fact, when I went to the UN for the the permanent forum for people of African descent, there was a Jamaican brother from the UNIA, and we were in the same room together. He was trying to make that argument, and unfortunately, in front of all those good Afro immigrants from around the world, I had to call him out and speak truth to power inside the UN building, which was good and necessary, because this is something that is very pervasive with Pan-Africanism. This need to make excuses and infantilize the continent because it is their God, right? It is their holy trinity for their religion. And so they need to do it. And the reason why they need to do it is because without it, they lose their entire identity. And so there's nothing more desperate and dangerous than an identityless person, right? That's floating around adrift with nowhere to go. And I think this is why we're seeing this last gasp from these people, and why they're fighting so hard against us with this delineation, because this is the ball game right here. This is it. And so when we're asking, like, why are they doing this? Why are they fighting so hard? Why are they so disrespectful? Is because without us, right? Without us being the permanent underclass, they don't have an identity. They don't have a claim. They don't have a stake in this, and they've never been fighters to do what needs to be done to get what they need to get gotten, if that's a right way to say it. And so it's the same thing we pointed out when Viola Davis starred in The Woman King. That was for the Dahomey tribe. We know that was a female enslavement squad. Very, very brutal. We know that from Zora Neale Hurston's book, The Last Barracoon, where Cujo Lewis talked about that tribe coming into his village, killing people and enslaving him and then selling him off. So we already know this happened. And it's just, like I said, their last gasp of gaslighting is to make us think that we're crazy, that we're even saying that Africans saw other Africans. It's so bad. They say that's white man's history. We saw it on that 154 podcast, right? She was saying, how do you know we sold y'all? Because the white man told us? No, because it's the historical record. Because Africans that got sold told us. The proof is still in the pudding. It's in the goosey soup. Like, so we're supposed to just ignore all that because it doesn't look good for you and your religion. And that's the part of the game that we just not, we're not doing anymore. We're not playing that game. And Cat Williams on that famous interview said, there's going to be the year of revelation. Things will get revealed. And that there's only two sides. There's God's side and everybody else. And what we're coming to find out is that the only people on God's side is the foundational Black Americans and those that are allying with us. On that other side is everybody else, including the Pan-Africans, including the Afro immigrants, including the Hispanics, including everybody, because everybody else qualifies for that other side. And they're starting to show themselves, because I think we're in the final quarter, right? This is the fourth quarter of everything that we've been working on, and it's going to come down to our execution and how we run our plays, whether we win or lose this game. And the good thing is that we have a good track record. And I just want to highlight two things before I go. If you guys ever saw, I don't know who saw it out, but y'all know I talk movie needs. It was a good movie, and it'll be a circular moment. based on what Sister Brooke says she likes to watch at Christmas time because it's another Jim Carrey movie. It's called The Truman Show. And if you never saw it, you should go take a look at it. And The Truman Show, and the way I'm going to use it tonight, is a symbolic representation of foundational Black Americans. We didn't ask to be the main character. We were just chosen to be. And the way in which y'all move, y'all make us the main character. And because you have made us the main character, your job is to keep us as the main character. Because once we understand that we are the main character and we no longer want to star in the movie or production that you got going on, you are out of a job. Because your whole job is to keep us as the main character. And so what has happened is that the main character has woken up. Just like Truman found out on that show, it was all fake. He had the power. And they tried to tell him at the end, right? At the end of I ain't gonna spoil it, but the bottom line is that we have found out who we are, and we found out who you really are. And the bottom line is that now we have decided to become a main character in our own story. And that doesn't mean that your story has to end. And doesn't mean we get to dictate what your story is. Your story is just no longer tied to our story. And it doesn't matter if you're okay with that or not, because our story is going to go on regardless of whether you like it or not, because it was going on before you got here.
Ooh.
And it's going to go on long after you're gone. And I'm going to end on this because I was thinking about all these things and what Brother Tao was saying. And I'm going to end on what cults do and how they weaponize low self-esteem. And I think that will really crystallize why we're being gaslit and why they talk to us and have talked to us in the ways in which they've talked to us for so long and are so mad because now we're rejecting their tactics. And it says this: cults systematically dismantle your confidence and agency to keep you dependent on a group or leader. They manufacture doubt. Leaders frequently use fear, guilt, and shame to make members question their own judgment. They erode boundaries. They isolate you from friends and family, like grandma telling you what your true lineage is. Making the cult your only source of self-worth. Now on to the guru dynamic in closing. Cult leaders often suffer from severe self-esteem issues themselves. Dr. Sukihana. Requiring total adulation and submission from followers to validate their own power. Foundational Black Americans will have political and ethnic autonomy, and there ain't shit you could do about it. I'll land there.
My brother.
Stop playing with him. Stop playing with him. Please, in our description, check out the usfreemanproject.org for more information. My sister Brooke is busy. Let's go to, you ready? Go ahead, Sister Brooke. All right. Your final thoughts and commentary.
Okay.
Let's get them up out of here.
Okay, so I kept referring to Barbados. Somebody tagged President Divine and I on Twitter regarding the Barbados president being over there in Ghana. She ain't my president. Now, I ain't got nothing against her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think out of all the Caribbean prime ministers, presidents, whatever the hell you want to call them, I don't know. She's not the worst, right? But she ain't my president. She don't speak for me. And if she want to go over there and make nicey with the people that sold her people, that's on her. not on me. I don't want nothing to do with that Ghana bullshit. And if she keep fucking around, I ain't gonna want nothing to do with her either. She better not come over here telling us what the fuck to do, because she's not our fucking president. Okay. So don't think that doesn't impress me that she went over there. I don't give a fuck what she does. Whatever the fuck she does ain't got shit to do with me over here. So like I said, she want to go over there and she don't know her history. That's on her. And the Bajans in Barbados and outside of Barbados, that's your problem, not mine. Now, you could do something about that if you want to, but I'll tell you what, again, she don't speak for us.
I say, tell them how you really feel, bro.
You know what I'm saying? She seemed like a nice lady, but she don't speak for me. I also wanted to insert this. I forgot when I was sitting there talking about how, some of them got, VA loans and all this kind of, I forgot about present day 2026, the housing vouchers y'all are getting. Okay. I know y'all getting them. You know how I know y'all getting them? Because y'all tried to get me to get them. But when y'all tried to get me to get them, I told you I'm not lying on nothing, because I already know how they treat us. We're not allowed to lie about our income. We're not allowed to forge things. We're not allowed to be fraudulent. We're not allowed to commit fraud on financial documents with the government. I personally know a couple people who just over food stamps, they got records. They either got records or had to pay all that money back unless they get a record. But I personally know a lot of Caribbeans who do not have those same experiences. They are able to lie. They are able to cheat. They are able to steal from the system. We don't have those kind of, and I was never confused about my role in this country and what is allowed by my people. So there's no way. I said, nope, I will stay right in my apartment that I can afford. And now all of y'all that got those vouchers, now y'all gonna have to find an apartment that you can afford, because you in an apartment that you can't afford.
You can't afford it. You
can't afford it. It's beautiful. It's nice, right? Those same apartments that she was talking about there, because she sat there talking about who can afford them. Oh, don't lie, boo-boo. Y'all are affording them with the vouchers that you're getting. Okay, when we was talking about, that lady talked about Queen Nzinga, who did they say last week was subservient? David Aiello?
You went to my closing, sis. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Who? Because you know that word. She served white folks by bringing them slaves that they needed and wanted. She served them. That's how she came to power. That's how she stayed in power, as well as serving white folks. But you gonna bring your narrow ass all the way over here, flee once to the UK, then flee again over here, and then tell us that we're subservient? Have you lost those slaves selling mind? Again, y'all have heard me say this over and over. We have been calling the wrong ancestors, and shit, we've been naming our kids after the wrong ancestors as well. You talk about people naming their child Nzinga. Imagine your daughter naming Nzinga. Change your goddamn name. Your name is Nzinga, and you find out she's a slave selling witch. Ciao. Sorry for all the Nzingas out there. I'm sure you're very nice ladies, but I'd change that name. Call me Gus, something. I don't know. You got to change that shit. Yes, and I would go back to African slavery, being better than white tea slavery. I just want to remind people that when the chief died, all his slaves were killed with him so that they could serve him in the afterlife. Let me tell you something. White folks didn't even do that. When the slave, when the plantation owner, all right, OG Tad, I'm learning. When the plantation owner passed away, they didn't kill all the slaves with him. Truth be told, we was too expensive to do that. Y'all didn't even value the financial worth. That's why you're over here begging for $100 million so you can refurbish those castles / dungeons that you got over there. Because as I said in front of y'all stank ass faces, you sold your family members for beads and you're mad because you're poor. I saw this video the other day where a guy, he was digging up in his backyard and they dug up a whole bunch of like a treasure chest of cowrie shells. Guess how much that shit's worth? Shit. Bushmeat is worth more than them goddamn cowrie shells. I like to call them trinkets of human trafficking. You pulled up a bucket load of trinkets of human trafficking. You better see if you can sell them to white folks so they can sew it in their hair. Or that Jamaican bitch at the hearings who lying saying that she from South Carolina now, bitch. Yeah, you know, run from me when you see me. You already know what to do. You and them cowrie shells be hitting the dust. So, bro, OG Tad, when you went over there and they had asked you to be the chief, right? After you said no, they went and got 19 keys and James Smalls. He cut off his camera. They said, Tad said no. Let me go get Professor James Smalls. And James Smalls said, I'll do it. 19 Keys said, I'll do it. So that they could be, and you was talking about how, you know, people who don't have no name here, they're not doing nothing here, they go over there to be a, you know the foundational Black American saying, they go over there to be a big fish in a little pond. Because you can't do it over there, but you a big man when you go over there, or you a big woman when you ain't even a big woman, because, honey, the foundational Black American single women that been coming over there ain't been coming back. That when they do come back, they come back in a body bag. Because they ain't got no respect for women but then women come over here and tell us that our foundational Black American men are terrible. Have you lost your mind? You're talking about your own father, not mine. Don't you dare talk about my daddy. Then President Devine talked about, you know what I'm saying, how in Roots, how it was was that you, OG Tad? It was OG Tad. You were talking about how in Roots, it was right there in the movie. Child, y'all ever seen the Book of Negroes? In that movie, I know it's a very underground. Okay, all right, you know, big SisKeisha seen it. In the Book of Negroes, in the beginning, I'm not even gonna tell you the end of the movie, but in the beginning of the movie, right? The little girl, she was caught by another young man, right? And she was caught, and then, you know, he was working for the white tea people. He caught her, and he put her on the ship and everything. And as soon as they got all of them on that ship, they put his ass on the ship. Okay, and then let's see, my last point that I got here. Brother Black, you were talking about Carmela Anthony and that dream team that they got. One, the reason why, remember, they said last week, was it last week or the week before that, we were talking about the fact that people were telling him that, no, Charleston White told him that to trust the white folks and not all white folks are bad, and that how he should have white lawyers. So that's why they didn't have no black attorneys then. And then I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it publicly. And if I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong. Like, it's sometimes I want to be wrong. I want my spirit to be wrong. And on this one, I want it to be wrong. But I'm going to tell you what my spirit is saying. My spirit is tingling. Y'all seen that picture of that lawyer with that afro? I noticed this. I think I was watching, I think it was Billions I was watching. And it was this guy, and he looked like an Afro Latino. And they were trying to blacken him up, right? To make him look black because he was supposed to play a black character, right? And because his afro was just kind of clownish, right? Not that it looked clownish, or anything like that, but it's 2026. Who's walking around with an afro like that? You know what I'm saying? Even our OGs, OGs, you know what I'm saying? Like, they not walking around afros like that no more. Some of them still got flat tops before they got, you know what I'm saying? The rounded ones, not the the angle ones, but they got the rounded flat. They walking around with those before they walk around with them afros. But because he wasn't black, you know what I'm saying? They put him in an afro to make him look more black. Now, if y'all remember, there was a somebody who's in political office, and Tariq was talking about him, and he showed a picture of him back when he wasn't, when he was just doing regular work, and he had a regular Caesar. And now that he's thrusted into, you know what I'm saying, the Democratic limelight, he's got one of these afros. And one of them lawyers has one of them afros. And that concerns me. Then there's another lawyer on there, and he's kind of, I don't know, but he has on a bow tie, but no Muslim last name. And let me go back to the afro. So you're in the legal profession? You running there in and out of courtrooms with an afro? I don't know. But the family, like I said, they have aligned themselves with Tamika Mallory. They have aligned themselves with some questionable people. So I am not expecting a lot from this legal team, and I hope to God I am wrong. This is the one time, please come tell me I'm wrong. But I'm telling you what my spirit is saying. My spirit is saying this legal team is not what they're making it seem like. And then all the pomp and circumstance around it. Have y'all seen the video? Like, there's a music video. I think Church of Black Power was playing it the other day. He was playing the music video. It's too much cooning and buffooning going on. And not enough business. When you see videos of Alton Maddox getting to business, he was getting to business. It wasn't no stupidity going on. When Johnny Cochran was getting to business, he was getting to business. It wasn't no buffoonery going on. There's too much buffoonery going on with these goddamn lawyers already. And that concerns me, and I'll land there.
My brother from another mother. Let's get the people up out of here.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in and rocking out with us. The fact of the matter is we want you to lean on yourself, man. we see that people are definitely trying this destiny swap thing in real time. They want us to go outside of our place of origin while they come in here and cosplay us, you know. So let's just be mindful, watch the rhetoric of those who are in opposition of us, and let's hold the line, family. So hopefully you inspired by something you heard here today, and it's your turn to go out and inspire others. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true, and we see you on the bridge next Thursday. Sister Keisha.
Good night, y'all. We about to be up out here. So, you know, I don't know this man. I never met him, never spoke to him, other than what I hear on his social media platforms. But we're going to let Tariq close us out. And then we're going to close out with Sister Ish and Brother Coolwater's song, because TBS is over, goddammit. You're going home. You're getting up out of here. Please don't say nothing crazy to me so I don't send ICE to see you. Y'all have a great rest of the week. Be safe and dangerous at the same goddamn time.
Insist on co-opting Juneteenth. You understand? Because they feel like they have the authority to come and remix everything that has to do with our culture, and they're not used to us pushing back and saying, no, you're not going to do that. Understand the strategic motivation behind them trying to Africanize Foundation of Black Americans. See, that's a maneuver, not a gesture of solidarity. That's a maneuver. If they can convince us to view ourselves merely as displaced Africans rather than a distinct indigenous American ethnic group, that shifts the cultural center of gravity away from the United States and back to Africa. You understand? So they want to center Africa so they can hijack leadership. When Africa is made the centerpiece of Black American identity, that creates a dynamic where foreigners automatically become the authorities. I want you to feel me. Then by default, the people who are geographically and culturally or recently tied to the continent, they position themselves as the authentic elders or experts of Africans. Us identify as Africans, hold on. Sorry about that. Us identifying as Africans or displaced Africans, that relegates foundational Black Americans to a subordinate secondary role within our own identity, constantly looking to the immigrant class for cultural validation. You understand? So we sit up here and we're just some generic Africans. When the real Africans come over, we have to defer to them. Like, move, nigga. I'm from the continent. I'm real African. Listen to me. I am the leader of you niggas. It's that type of shit. And I say we don't need reparations. We need to work hard, pull up by your bootstraps. No. See, they're losing their default authority as the real Africans. Listen, from a strategic standpoint, let's be very honest, family. Foundational Black Americans, we get absolutely zero tangible benefits from claiming an African identity. Can we be real? Let's be real. Family, what do we get out of claiming an African identity that we have no real connection to, because modern Africa is completely different from when some of us were there hundreds or even thousands of years ago? It's not the same thing. Let's be real. We don't get anything out of it. There is no institutional, economic, or political return on investment. Adopting a Pan-African identity, that doesn't secure reparations, that don't grant political leverage in Washington, that don't get us no land over there, unless we go there and give them a bag and then they finesse us out of that shit. That's another story. That provides no economic carve-outs, that offers no protective status globally. We literally don't get shit from it. Literally nothing. Zero benefits, no free citizenship, nothing. It's an identity exchange where foundational Black Americans, we have to give up our specific American leverage for literally nothing in return. On the flip side, the immigrant class, they reap all the tangible benefits when we adopt that bullshit generalized, we all one African shit. They benefit from it because you blur the lines of lineage. Immigrants can come over, position themselves to capitalize on our achievements, our civil rights infrastructure, our affirmative action resources built by our FBA blood, sweat, and tears. And they use all of our gains as an economic political ladder and then tell us, well, yo, you must work hard, nigga. All the benefits go to them. So we're disrupting that whole buffer class dynamic, ladies and gentlemen.
Shout out to Tariq Nasheed. We out, y'all. Good night.
Y'all don't hear us. Pull up a seat and motherfucking listen. Pull up a seat and motherfucking listen.
Pack your bag, time to go home.
Talking crazy on our soil where our blood and bones grown.
This our grind, we outside on it. While y'all fools on the outside looking, y'all show no respect to Black America, so lean.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your digits, make it just fly on.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your digits, make it just fly on.
You landed on the tarmac, fresh off the boat. Talking about y'all building nothing, man, you choking on the note. My ancestors the reason that this country even breathes. Picked the cotton, built the White House, planted the seed. Jim Crow laws, redlined the map, we was the target. You think that struggle's a costume, man, you can't mark it. We fought the wars, we bled the blood, we died for our future's chance. And you come here and give our legacy a side eye while throwing shade on the guard. While you benefit from doors we kicked down with our last breath. Now you spit on the architects who stared down death. Disrespectful, that's disrespectful, ungrateful, a slap in the face, the only people who gave a fuck. So let me show your ungrateful ass to the right place. Ho, ho.
Pack your bags, time to go home.
Talking crazy on our soil where our blood and bones grown.
This our grind and we outside on it. While y'all fools on the outside looking, y'all show no respect to Black America, so lean.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your digits, make it just fly on.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your digits, make it just fly on. Passport, the visa, the privilege to be here. Cause my grandma did march for y'all, so disappear from our land. You cosplaying our pain. Think it's a trend you can borrow, but you ain't inherit the ghosts of our sorrow. We the foundation, the bedrock, the soil and the root. You not no branch on our tree, and unproductive people always cosplaying me.
Talking about we ain't do nothing, you lost your mind. We built this from nothing, time after time.
From the beginning to now, we've been the backbone and muscle. Why you look down on the struggle and cause a whole tussle? That energy spat with disgusting is whack. So let's make it clear, there's no turning back.
This land is paid for in full.
In blood, sweat, and tears, and dreams deferred.
You don't get to come into a house we built from the dirt and telling Black America y'all ain't worth nothing. That's a violation, facts.
Pack your bags, time to go home.
It's our soil on our soil where our blood and bones grown.
Show respect, this our ground, y'all just tenants on a leash.
Oh, get the step.
Show no respect to Black America, so leave.
Don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, taking your digits, I can just fly on.
Don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, taking your digits, I can just fly on.
Yeah, fly little birdies.
Fly on back to where you came from.
This ain't for you, this soil is sacred.
We said what we said,
It's time
for y'all to go home. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. Fly far, far away.